blood is flowing down the streets. People need to know we're living in a war zone. Hit the streets with the truth. Tell them that it's
The most delayed count ever. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Residentdarrell, and tonight we got a full house with one on the way. He's dropping a twoski. It is Josh Adams, my comic book co-host. How you doing, brother?
What up, dude?
It's almost like we just got to recording another episode. And
I know, isn't that weird?
It's wow. It just feels we've just been hanging out digitally so much lately. It almost feels like we do this all the time. And then we got Johnson, Jammin' Joe. How you doing, brother?
I'm great. How are you guys tonight?
It's been a very interesting weekend for me. How about you guys?
It's been a week.
I officiated
Same.
a wedding yesterday in the hot
something.
sun, so it's been a weird one.
Dude, that's my favorite. I hated doing weddings. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge proponent of marriage, and I want people to get married and stay married forever, fight through all the bull crap, all that good stuff. But dude, the actual act of officiating weddings was never my specialty, or funerals for that matter. I think I've done as many funerals as I've done weddings, and I'm telling you, me in a sweatsuit, friggin' out there in the sun, not my favorite. So, and then we got ZJ Zach. What's up, brother?
What's going on, everybody?
Dude, guys, I think we got a big delay with Zach tonight.
It certainly seems that way.
It's gonna be a fun edit.
Delay. Is that better?
All right. I mean, I don't know. You tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I'm just going to make him count.
He's just holding his breath. He's like, oh, I don't want him to know I hear him. So, all right. And Tricky's going to be with us. He is driving a two-ski.
He who shall not be named.
He who shall not be named.
Definitely called him that today, too.
That's awesome. It's going to be a fun night. So here's what we're doing, guys. We're going to kind of move quickly through what we've been playing because I want to get to the community questions. I've got a house full of Rugrats and a wife off work. I borrowed Josh for longer than I normally borrow him for recording. So I want to make sure everything's on the up and up on his side. And then we're getting Tricky fresh off of an episode of Trivia Wars, which we're also getting Zach the same way, and Zach worked all day. So we're going to try not to have a 5-hour show, but we'll see what happens. So let's start this show off with a toast. I want to toast our Patreon producers. All right. Finishing up the month of May, we got MZ Nitro. My name is effing Mayo and Redbeard Rick. Shout out to you guys. I want to give a shout out to all the other patrons too, just for being awesome. I want to give a shout out to that Gotham Knights gameplay trailer. Did you guys see that?
Ooh, so good.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I did. It looks good.
It looks dope. It looks friggin' dope. And I want to give a shout out to Josh because obviously you got your Apollyon. Is that right?
Yep.
Apollyon. Pre-orders are live, doing well from what I hear. And the Sarita one shot is getting ready to go live. I saw some stuff on social media.
Yeah, I think the pre-order link just went up today for Sarita.
Awesome. I didn't want to say that and misspeak because I know I got my pre-order link early, but I don't know how early. So. Yeah, let's give a toast to those.
Yep.
Some strawberry watermelon bubbly.
Agave watermelon hard seltzer.
Strawberry watermelon stuff from Taco Bell. I don't know what the hell this is.
Oh, it's butt water. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get into what we've been playing, but just real quick, if you have not already, please like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Check out the Patreon. If you listen to the show week in, week out, which we know hundreds of you do, please check out our Patreon. There's all kinds of extra content up there outside of the normal paid tiers. We definitely would love for you to check that out. We would love for you to check out the YouTube. YouTube's kind of slowed down a little bit. We put our first ever actual video on YouTube. Now, we always do a static graphic with the audio from each week's episode, but Josh and I did an interview with a comic book creator from Cuba, which I just thought was super special, super cool. And we did that actual video interview, so we put that on the YouTube, so you can see our pretty faces or lack thereof. So, with that being said, Josh, you're the guest. Why don't you start us off with what you've been playing?
All right, so I was waiting because like I wanted the price to get down like below $20 for the Resident Evil 3 remake.
Yes.
And it finally, this past week, it was finally like $14.99 or something like that. So I downloaded that bad boy. So I've been getting chased around by Nemi.
Yes.
And I've been enjoying it. It's just like Resident Evil 2, like the remake of that one. It's gorgeous. Visually looks good, runs real smooth, like the gameplay's really good. Short, but sweet. It feels more like DLC than it's a standalone game, but I'm enjoying it though. So that's kind of been my main game this week, just because I hadn't had a lot of time to play much of anything.
Yeah, that's a nice 6-hour campaign right there. That one felt really good when I played it and beat it. And Nemesis is not near as much of a butt bag as
Mr. X was.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Just
Mr.
constantly chasing you around.
Yeah, that one. That was I was at such a push and a pull with that game, and my brother and I were talking about that this weekend because we were talking about just OG Resident Evil 2 versus Resident Evil 2 remake. And man, I'm telling you, it was something. So all right, so everybody, Tricky is finally done dropping the dooski. How you doing, Tricky?
No hernia here.
No hernia.
For the record, I just want to say Darrell told me to hurry up, and I said you can't rush your poop. That's how you get a hernia.
All right, we're glad to have you, Tricky. Why don't you start us off then? Because you're also a guest. What you've been playing this week?
The only thing I've been playing is Lego Star Wars, The Division, and that's it.
It's good, dude. So someone sent me a message that The Division has Resident Evil character skin.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
You know what? I feel like I remember seeing that. I guess they're either back in the item shop or something resurfaced with that today because people were sending me messages. So I'm like, you know what? I've owned The Division 2 since it came out. I've never played it.
What you need to do?
That's a fun.
What
game.
you need to do is watch me play it on Twitch. Because now until June 1st, anybody that watches anybody playing the Division 2, for every hour up to 4 hours that you watch, you get a cachet. And after 4 hours, you get an exotic cachet. And Darrell, I could literally run you 0 to 30 in a couple hours and show you the end game content. If you're playing right now, Countdown is absolutely fantastic mode. It's like a mini raid, 15 minutes in and out. And
okay,
the stuff that you can get inside of Countdown is remarkably good. Like you can level up things, and I can have you as an overpowered character in less than a day.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, we'll have to set that up, man, because I am. I think I'm feeling it. We'll see. You know how I am, though. I
Is
like
it crossplay?
No, they announced it because Division 2 first came out was when crossplay was starting to gain popularity. And they said to go back in and try to figure that out would have been too hard. And they recently talked about it on a Twitch cast that they were doing, that the main problem of what they do is because your save file is saved on their cloud. So to be able to get your inventory to go from one console to the other is the major hindrance. That's the main reason why they don't have crossplay.
Boo.
Hey, well, you know what, though? I'll tell you what, though. I want to give you a shout out for sticking with that game and being the Division 2 champion, despite all the hate you get, because everybody's got their main, and the fact that this game has been so good to its community, I don't hear people that play the Division complain.
Well,
about
the main complaint is I basically took a year off of playing the game because they every Thursday, or it was every Thursday, every Tuesday they would have a live stream on their Twitch page announcing the updates, what's coming, blah, 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 blah. And then they said back in December of 20, they turned around and said, all right, we'll be back after the holidays, and then never came back.
And it took extended holiday.
What it turned out is at the same time that they were saying that, after that broadcast, was when they started working on their Star Wars game. So a lot of people from the Division team moved over to play Star Wars, and then a lot of people were like, yo, what the hell? Where's the next season? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And they basically redid seasons 1 through 4 again. So it became 5, 6, 7, and 8, and now season 9's out now, and they spent a year with a skeleton crew of only like 7 people developing the content that's out right now, and everybody else is still working on their Star Wars game. So what they've done is a fantastic part of it, and they've also stepped up their game in the proficiency levels. So now as you use your weapon, you get more proficient at it, and as you gain the proficiency levels and all the things, like there's 344 things that you can upgrade in the game, which is obviously going to take some time. But every time you level up, you gain a proficiency level from 1 to 20. I'm hearing 20 is the cap right now. I'm not anywhere close to that. I'm on level 2 right now. But as you level up each, your overall proficiency goes up. You can then upgrade your gun or your gear or whatever it is to move up, and you get more and more powerful. So now, like before, you had no shot in hell of soloing a hunter, which they randomly pop up in the game. Now, if you get to level 20, you can melt a hunter.
Dude, that's cool.
Is that Star Wars game that they're working on? Is that Bounty Hunters?
I don't think it's bounty hunters. I think it's going to be in the style of the Division, where it's going to be a looter shooter. But I don't know how they're going to do a looter shooter if they're going to bring lightsabers into it.
They were supposedly making it Bounty Hunters, I thought, which was that it was a battle royale game.
I know there's like 9 Star Wars games in development right now.
Oh,
Quantic Dream is making one. Gearbox is making one. Massive, who's Ubisoft, is making one.
Yeah,
Fallen Order 2, and then the Amy Hennig just announced she's making a Star Wars game. So there's
we'll see how that works out again.
Yeah. I said the same thing to Yield on Trophy Wars. I said I wouldn't get your 2 hopes up because this is like the 3rd Star Wars game she's worked on. But yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars games. I'm really interested to see how the Quantic Dream one's going to come out, because I don't know. Yeah. I said this on my show. I was like, I don't know how you're going to make Star Wars games in the style of like Heavy Rain or Detroit Become Human.
Oh, I think it's easy to do. Honestly, it'd be like doing a Telltale Star Wars game. I think it'd be actually
and they're making a Telltale Star Wars game too as well. There's like, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm one of the biggest Star Wars fans out there, but 9 games all in development, that's a little much.
I mean,
and
it's
then
crazy.
You add in all the Disney Plus shows and all the novels that are constantly coming out. It just reaches a point where they flood the market, and none of it stands out, so you don't really care about anything.
Right, and I Fallen Order is a fantastic game, but I could do without a sequel on that.
Yeah, I agree.
I gotta go back and finish that game.
I'd love to see
Planet. I was like,
Fallen Order.
What was the one that they had in development that was going to be? It was going to be all about like the the criminal underworld stuff, and then it got canceled a few years back.
That was the Amy Hennig game that EA canceled because there's no nobody wants to play a single player game anymore.
That's a lie.
Well, that's EA for you. Hey, I read today that somebody's EA's propping themselves up to get purchased.
I know that they said that I had it in the agenda and I just erased my agendas. I know they're looking to be looking for buyers, but I don't know if they actually want to sell or they just want to merge with somebody.
Yeah, I saw that as potential merger as well too. So that's pretty interesting, man. Just think the EA could be gobbled up by somebody and actually not suck.
No, you can't ever say EA is not going to suck.
Even when they don't suck, they still do.
Microtransaction.
Oh, that was the joke, man. Somebody said, "Yeah, you're going to buy EA," and then find out there's 10 more little pieces you have to purchase. You have to make.
Yeah, Yield shared that.
That's funny. So, all right, Zach, where are you at with what you've been playing this week?
I have finished Sleeping Dogs yesterday, so I am clear on the pledges. So I am open. Y'all can keep giving me good games to play. I started Battle Block Theater tonight. I am already I'm already almost through the second world, so that's kind of neat.
The game's awesome.
I'm currently playing through the Halo 3 campaign as well, and I'm starting Resident Evil, the first one. I have it downloaded. I didn't start it yet. I'm starting it tomorrow.
Okay.
Daryl,
There you
I'm
go.
going to give you a
There you go.
spoiler for our show. Zach was just on our show, but he actually recommended, because I can't play first-person shooters, the game to ease into is Halo.
Because when you start with the first ones, like the first couple, there's no running, there's no dodge rolling, there's none of that. So it's literally walking.
But it's still Halo.
Yeah, but it's not like competitive FPS, especially if you play the campaigns, which I think you would enjoy.
Yeah.
The first two are slower, and there's a lot of potential to spend a lot of time walking if you don't use the vehicles and things like that. But yeah, they're good. I taught my wife to play first person shooters with Halo. So
That's actually
I
how I'm
got-
teaching myself to learn shooters with mouse and keyboard.
yeah, I don't
That's a good
disagree with
idea.
that because it's slower pace to an extent, you know.
I still think Reach was my favorite out of all those. I liked Reach.
That was a
lot.
good one.
At least like the
That
story
was
a
a
lot.
good one. That was a good one.
Story was
All right.
really good.
What else you got, Zach? Is that it?
That is all I have been playing this week. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, God of War. I actually played a little bit more of that last night. I got some trophies in that last night.
There we go. There we go.
Which one are you playing?
I'm finishing the first one. I never finished it when I started it back in January. I'm actually, so I was a little bit further back still than I thought I was. I got through 2 missions last night, so now I'm on Hades right before Ares.
It's a good game, dude.
I have enjoyed every bit of what I have played of it so far. The story is really good. I have no complaints. I'm thoroughly enjoying.
Yeah, the second one even takes it up a notch too. So does the third one. Those are fun games, man. Like obviously they're a product of their time, but man, I thoroughly enjoyed them. I loved playing them on the Vita, even though the back touch on the Vita kind of made it a little frustrating to play sometimes. Like I quite enjoyed that. So
Well, I actually
All right, Joe.
I got my
Oh, go ahead,
PSP. I'm sorry. I got my PSP out to take on this trip with me because so it's a franchise, like a little store franchise that's out here mainly. But they have batteries and stuff out here, so I'm gonna go there this weekend on their Memorial Day sale and pick up a battery and some used games for cheap.
that's dope, dude. Yeah, post some pictures. That stuff gets me excited.
Does it give you an e-boner?
Yes,
It gives me something. I don't know. A little tank.
you can definitely see it for sure. It's
a little rumble in the jungle. If you know what I'm saying.
that's his video game stack. That's what gives him his e-boner.
Hey,
His stack of games he'll never play.
Hey, that's the best kind. The best kind. It's better to have a stack of games you'll never play than a stack of games you played and you'll never return to. Question mark. Joe.
What have
have you
I
been
been playing? A few things. I've been playing. What have I been playing? Well, I beat Jedi Fallen Order this week.
Whoa, there's a
Ooh,
spike in the
wow.
audio.
Woo. Yep. I don't know what you did.
Yeah, there you go. I moved my microphone to my face because somehow my mic's not picking me up. My actual headset's picking me up, which is really annoying because I thought that I was talking through my microphone and I'm not. So yeah. So yeah, I beat Jedi Fallen Order. What a friggin' game that was. Let me tell you, like, that's Star Wars storytelling at its finest. I really like the story. I really like the character. Like, Cal's a really cool character. And I like his journey. And I think it's a really cool journey. I mean, your typical, Jedi journey. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't played it yet. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Keep going.
We're listening
Okay.
to you speak. I mean,
Oh,
even though that doesn't sound like a pledge game to me, but
No, it's not. It's not a pledge game. I'll get to that in a minute, asshole.
I'm gonna give you shit every week until you at least beat one of them.
It's okay. I haven't even beat any of the 10 games on my list this year either. So
Hey, real quick, Joe. Sorry. Earlier we were in the lobby getting ready to start the show, and Joe's like, "Man, I'm 50% done with Bloodborne." I'm like, "That's so funny," because like as soon as he gets on a pledge, he jumps to another game, then jumps to another game, then jumps to another game, and then he's like, "Dude, I'm halfway through Bloodborne," which I think is awesome. I'm all about it, but I'm like, just kind of giggling. Like, Get it, Joe. Get
I'm
it.
halfway through a bunch of games, honestly. Like, that's my problem. My ADHD acts up, and then I just start playing, like, random stuff instead of beating the things I have. And then I'll go back and do, like, a challenge run, which is, I played Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which I played a bunch of times. So, yeah, I'm playing something I've already beat, which is kind of like a waste of my time, as Kalai would say.
Feels good, though.
Oh, well, I'm doing a challenge run. I'm trying to beat it with one single character, like no other units on the battlefield.
There you go.
So I have to de-equip all the weapons from my units, and then they're basically just sponges, and they just get hit until they die, and then I'm the only one that can attack anything and gain experience. So I've beaten like 4 or 5 chapters so far, and it's pretty easy so far because I ranked up my characters so high that she has so much speed that she can move pretty quick and dodge pretty much every attack. So she's not even getting hurt at this point. It's just magic users fuck me up real bad, so I have to watch out for them. So it's like positioning and kind of like playing a giant game of chess at this point. And then I played Bloodborne. That's probably the only other thing I played this week. And damn, Bloodborne is a fantastic game. Like, for anybody who hasn't played Bloodborne, I highly recommend you go play Bloodborne. I feel like every time I finish something in Bloodborne or I get further in Bloodborne, I feel a sense of accomplishment. And I'm not even going to lie, at this point, I'm playing Bloodborne with a guide because I have no idea where I'm supposed to go half the time.
Yes.
Can we just talk about for a second that I just got hit by my own AI partners in Halo and it killed me?
Nice.
Nice.
Oh yes, love
Friendly
it.
fire, bro. Friendly
Halo
fire.
Halo 3 jank. They literally just ran a warthog into the room and just knocked me forward as I was shooting a grunt. That's fantastic.
Halo.
Going back to Bloodborne, Joe. Like, I was asking my son because I played the first half of Bloodborne with Frosty and Tanner, and then I played the second half with my son. And I'm like, what the freak is going on in this game? Because I just I don't know what's happening here. And
The lore is
of the
dense
comics.
and heavily buried.
Yeah, but where's it buried? Because I never found it.
I feel like you don't
Bloodborne
need it.
comic?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
I
there
read
you
it.
go.
You don't need it, though. I feel like the game is the game. It's kind of like Elden Ring. Like, whereas Elden Ring has a little bit more story to it, I feel, again, you don't need stories to drive these type of games. Like, the actual sense of accomplishment that you gain from killing each boss is what drives you to keep playing and just leveling up your character and getting your different skill sets and even replaying the game over and over again with different builds. And I understand why, like, you know, Tanner goes back and beats the game with like nothing on and like a fucking pot on his head, or like beats it with like a pan, like a soup ladle. Like I get it.
Masochist.
Like, I get it. Like, it's just yeah, he's definitely 100%. I fuck him
Well,
for making me play this. Seriously.
I think a lot of it too, From Software have such a good like aesthetic design to their games that
Yes.
every new section, like nothing looks like another part of the game. Like every part of it feels unique and fascinating, and they're constantly changing the environment. Man, like it's just so pretty to look at and so intriguing to look at that.
Oh, 100%.
Like it's never a boring game. Like even the same, it's even sections you've played like 1,000 times. Like you'll go back to them later in the game, and you're like, man, it still looks really cool.
I just like the macabre, like, and like dreariness and like darkness of this game, but also how like beautiful the skylight is, like when the fog and like the orange color of the sky. It's like this game is just so beautiful. Like,
Yeah,
it's so
it is.
dark.
Sounds good. The sound design is so.
Oh my god, playing with headphones on? Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's the greatest experience. Like, I scared the shit out of myself so many times last night. I just beat like the witch twins, like their optional
Yeah.
boss, but I stumbled upon them and I whooped that ass like second time. Like, I was like, oh man, like these guys are gonna be hard. Now, nope, they were easy. And then now I got to like Amelia Vickers, and I'm like, fuck this game.
Dude, the worst one was the cage head, the magic guy with the cage on his head.
I'm not even that far yet. I just got to the fucking witch, or not witch. It's a fucking like giant werewolf. And it's crazy fast, and it like kills you in like 3 hits. And I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm level 47, and this thing's killing me.
Yeah,
So I'm like-
so when you get to, I forget his name. I should know, just many times he killed me.
Not Father Gus going, because
No.
you killed him fast. So
I
did
killed
I.
him my second try, yeah. And everybody talking about how hard that one was, and I was like, man, dude, that first dude, it took me 8 hours to beat.
Mm.
Oh, that big beast.
Yeah, but dude, so when you get to the guy with the cage head, when he gets to his stage 2, like you just got to brute force him.
Mhm.
Like everything ranged or like parry based or anything, he's got this magic one shot, and I could, dude. And I was playing with New Game Plus 7s, New Game Plus 3, stuff like that, and like that, we just kept getting wrecked. And then we all just decided, you know what, we're gonna rush him. And then, dude, freaking. So definitely, that was what's so interesting. And as you know, beating Bloodborne, it was like, yeah, I get it, you know, because like these games are friggin' hard, and then like once you learn the patterns and learn the game, you learn the strategy per boss. It's like, oh, okay, I see the sauce. I see the special sauce. Is it for me? No, not in general. But you know, I played probably a quarter to close to a half of Dark Souls 3, and I didn't think it was terrible either.
Yeah, I like Dark Souls 3 a lot too. The only problem is like when you do have that moment of success in a Dark Souls, Soulsborne type game, it's followed by the crushing reality that you're not as good at real life.
Yep, that is.
I think
if only I could face real adversity with this much aplomb and dignity.
And only if I could die this many times, come back to life, and then regather my blood echoes.
You get dumped, and you just have to go recollect your echoes. Get fired, you have to go get your echoes.
Go get your job back. You're like, oh shit, I got fired on a Friday. Well, got to go back on Monday and get it back.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I'm still a virgin.
Sounds like the story of your life, Darrell.
Darrell's like, I blew myself up, light my own fart on fire, lost all my blood echoes.
Achievement unlocked.
Yep.
Died from. Darrell's like, I died from eating a chocolate banana.
Oh gosh!
You died from eating a chocolate banana.
I never ate the banana.
You thought about it. Don't lie to yourself.
I almost
Nah,
died
it's
from eating a
gross.
spicy nugget.
That's right. You almost did.
That's crazy.
We talked about that a little bit too.
Yep. All right. What else you got, Joe?
No, that's pretty much it. You know what? Honestly, like though, like playing this game makes me want like a Souls style Castlevania game.
Oh yeah, that'd be dope.
I've never
Like-
played Castlevania yet.
What? Like ever?
Not a single one of them. Nope.
What?
Not even
Everyone-
like on like
Yeah.
the NES or Super NES. Not even
Nope.
what?
Oh, you got to play Castlevania like 1. Go play that. Go buy the Castlevania collection. It's like $5 right now.
I mean, I may or may not say that I have a retro software on my computer that I could probably play it on.
Ooh, there you go. There you go. Get it.
That's legal, right?
Yeah,
As long as I have the
you have
cartridge,
the-
yeah.
No.
I mean,
As long as I
your
own the
buddy
game.
has it.
Yeah, as long as I own the game.
no.
Actually, technically, it is legal as long as you own the game physically in your
No,
presence.
it's not.
It's legal as long as we're live.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
is
is, because
you
there-
can
there-
dump your own ROMs.
You can, yeah. So you can actually go into the software itself, and you can so if I had a PS2 disc, I could put it in a CD drive. I could put it in my CD drive and play it through with that software.
Hey, look, I give you guys all written permission. Emulate all you want. So, what else you got, Joe?
I didn't
That's-
say emulate. Shh. You're not helping.
And by the way, shout out to all our developer friends that listen to this show each and every week.
And this has been the last episode of Loot Bros
And
podcast.
you guys are actually saying to pirate our games.
And the
Yeah.
well, you pirate because you're a pirate, right, Tricky? Oh shit!
Oh,
Have a good night, guys.
no. Hey, check it out. Like, real talk, we were supposed to have devs on tonight, but for whatever reason, they're like, you emulate our game, dude, we're out.
So I think the last thing I did this weekend, Darrell, and you'll appreciate this, I rewatched the Batman again,
Yeah,
it still sucks.
Yes.
and it's I don't know how, dude. I don't know. You guys want to talk about it real quick because I kind of
No,
we gotta
that's a
save it for the
separate
deep dive.
episode.
Oh man!
That's it for the deep dive.
All right. Spoiler. Well,
No spoilers.
preview.
Shush.
No
Objection.
Hush, Joe.
Objection. Oh man! I just want to tell you. I just want to tell you. How I
Objection.
feel.
Helen
Objection.
Keller. And talk with your
Hearsay.
lips.
Oh, man. Do the Helen
Sustained.
Keller.
Sustained.
Oh, you guys are.
I said hush.
Oh, I listened to that actually. So Amber Heard Johnny Depp case. I had a very long day, so that's what I listened to all day today, and I got to the
It's
best.
so funny.
I got to the best part today because Amber Heard's lawyer got up on the stand and started asking her questions, and Johnny Depp's lawyer was like, objection, hearsay, objection, leading, objection, and the judge is just like sustained, and I'm just like, yes.
Did you see the animated version they did of that, where it's actually done to Phoenix Wright?
No.
Oh god, it's absolutely hilarious.
Dude, you gotta put that
Absolutely.
in the group. That's awesome.
Yep.
I gotta
All right.
find it.
All right, so what I've been playing is I've been finishing up my platinum run of a little SpongeBob Hero Pants on the precious PS Vita.
Spam game that you're not supposed to be playing.
Yeah, okay. 8
That's
hours.
not a spam game.
Yeah.
Again, we just had this conversation, and I'm not gonna
You
have it with
wish-
you again,
you
Tricky.
Wish, I was playing
Dude.
spam.
You are playing
Um,
spam. You just get away with it.
Tricky. We just
Hey,
we
you
just
know
had
what?
this conversation.
Fine then.
Don't make me have this conversation again.
Spam is as spam does. So yeah, so I'm finishing that up. That's been a game I've been kind of chipping away at on the can and chipping away at. Late night in the bed, just been, I don't know, just been something I've been enjoying. Tricky and I have not been getting very many platinums this year, and it has nothing to do with the fact we're not playing spam. It has everything to do with the fact that we've been very busy. Just gonna throw that.
I'd like to disagree.
Busy not playing spam.
I popped out the old Xbox 360, and I finished the campaign for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So good. Still looks amazing on the 360. Like, good Lord, that game looked good. So I finished that, got me a little +2 on the old backlog beatdown. I also played a little bit of Dead to Rights. A little backwards compatibility for that.
Ooh, that's
Retribution?
a fun game.
No, the original on OG Xbox.
Oh man,
Man, that was a good game.
It
Forgot
was
about
such a
that
good
game.
game. Kind of controls a little bit like Booty right now. Like
it's jank as hell now.
it is now, but it was so cool. Just I thoroughly love and respect that series, that franchise. And I would play a Dead to Rights game every year. Like give me some slow motion bullet time. Give me some wolf dog biting balls. Like, let's go.
Wolf dog biting balls. That should be your new PlayStation name.
Hey, I'll do it too. I'll play spam on that account. But been playing a little bit of that. I've been playing. I actually finished Stubbs the Zombie.
Ooh, another +2.
Yep, another +2. That was an OG Xbox game that got ported over, and I played the remaster on PS4. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to go for the platinum because of how many times the game crashed on me. And I don't know if it's crashing because I'm playing on PS5 and it's a PS4 game, but there's like beat the game under 2 hours, beat the game on hardest difficulty. And like, I could totally do that stuff, but there were times where like the game, multiple times the game crashed on me. And I'm like, ugh, I don't know that I want to try a 2 hour speed run and then it crashed and we have to start over. So
That would suck.
that's a major donkey balls. So I don't think I'm gonna do it yet. We'll see. But I did quite enjoy the game. I might get like more trophies out of it and then just let it rest.
So Tricky, are you trying to define spam games as like children's
No.
games too?
That's the old spam. That was the old.
Listen, anybody who doesn't know me should know this by now. I'm legit just, having a good time. But as I just said on our show, I'm playing under a different set of rules than Daryl is because of my side bets.
Right.
So
he's got much stricter rules. And like there's layers to his rules too. So like for me, as long as I play games that are over an hour long, that was supposed to be okay. Now I did ask for a little clarification on spam to our hidden council.
those numbers are known.
Just because the members are known.
They know it's Gareth and
Okay.
Rick.
Right. So like, and those guys are like, they're not spam fans. So, pretty much there's certain developers that no matter how long their games are, they're off limits. And there's certain games that no matter what, they're off limits. They're spam. But yeah, Tricky and I, we've been behaving. We've been doing good. You guys don't have to worry about us. And then I guess outside of that, the main stuff I would like to, bring attention to would be I've been playing Resident Evil 2, the freaking OG, with my son. So we beat earlier this year we beat Resident Evil 1 HD Remake, which I think is the superior version of RE1. And I think the OG Resident Evil 2 is the superior version. So we started that and we're about halfway through it. So in between my mortgage loan duties, I have been kind of sliding in a little bit of game time, especially early mornings with my son. And it's been quite enjoyable. So I played a few other things here and there, just kind of dabbling because like it was kind of hard to figure out like what I could squeeze in this amount of time. And like I'm almost done with Sleeping Dogs, but like I don't want to play Sleeping Dogs while I'm doing other things because the story has gotten really good and things have really escalated where I'm at. So like Zach, I've already done the wedding and yeah, that wedding was awesome.
Yeah, it gets worse.
Yeah, well then I've already captured Dog Eyes and done all that stuff with him. So
this game is so good.
The game is good.
It
And
still
what's
gets
really
worse.
cool is the man, just the time playing in the vehicles is even at 2014 games still controls so well. Like I don't like when I play Grand Theft Auto, I tend to not enjoy being in a vehicle. I just
Dude, there's
feel like,
janky as shit. Any mission that made you drive in that game, I just want to punch myself in the face.
Yep.
It's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, that's kind of. I don't disagree with that. So I've definitely enjoyed my time with Sleeping Dogs because the driving's not bad, and I'm driving like the base. My main vehicle is like the base motorcycle. So I just friggin'
that's what I did a lot too. It's just easy. It's way easier to bob through traffic with the original vehicle.
So
Darrell, what's little man's reaction been to Resident Evil 2, like to the original? Like, how's he liking it so far?
So far, so good. Like, what's funny is I haven't passed the controller near as much with this game because it's
because you don't die because you memorize the entire freaking game.
It's bad. It's real bad. But like so far, he's really digging it, and like he's commented on just how good the pre-rendered backgrounds look.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's like huge because it's like, dude, this a guy like him, a kid like him, who plays a different era of video games that are so photorealistic and so high res. It's like this might not be good to him, but he's really digging it. And like every time we come across a file, we read the files out loud, and there's a little bit of gore in it, but it's kind of pixelated and silly looking now. So, but like, I don't know, man, it's been cool and he's been really into it. And like, there's been times where I'm like, okay, if we go through this door, these zombies are going to show up. If we do this, we go this route, we're going to kind of burn through our ammo. What do you want to do? And I'm letting him kind of choose, how he wants us to play. And, we're playing scenario 1 with Leon. So, we're going to be faced with like a decision on whether or not we leave the bag and the machine gun for Claire for scenario B. So I'm just curious to see what he's going to want to do.
Just make sure that he's holding the controller when the liquor jumps through the two-way glass.
We already did that. We did that this morning. But what's funny is I've got this like really loud surround sound set up. And so like we're sitting there playing and I was like, dude, like I had him focus on something. I said, look at the reflection of that mirror. He's like, yeah, man, that's really cool. And I ran forward. And while he was saying that, it was so loud because the bass, the audio mix in this game, I have to turn the bass really low on my setup. I say surround sound. It's not even really surround sound. It's just a really nice speaker setup. But I have to turn the bass down really low because it's naturally very bassy. And dude, when it hit, he screamed and I started laughing. It was so good. But I've been explaining lots of things to him. Like, when you first go into the hall where you see the liquor, there's that camera angle through the window pane. You only get that one time in the whole game. Every time you go back through there, you don't get that view. When the liquor crawls across the window in the previous room, you never see that again. So we're going to play through the games in the order they released and by the versions that I think are the best. So we'll do the original 2, original 3, Code Veronica. We'll do 0, and we'll play like the PS4 version of the 0 because even though I have the GameCube Wii version and everything, like we'll play like the better versions that are better to play. and
You know,
it's
the
cool,
Wii
man.
version of 4.
I do have it, and we have played some of it. Now that's not. So we played that one just kind of like on the side, just to show that like what it's capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And I do, although I do think that one is the best version of 4. We're probably gonna play the Xbox version because I've never officially beat it,
Okay.
and I'll get the achievements for that, and I'll get the points for Backlog Beatdown. So
Did you pick up the Switch version of the Resident Evil 4?
yes,
That actually has the Wii version in it.
that makes sense. Actually, that's a really good idea to play that version because then we get the high res and we can use the Joy-Cons.
Yep.
Dang, Joe, look at you coming in clutch with them good ideas. That's a good idea. I don't know. We might have to. Well, we're not there yet. So you know what? When that time comes, that might be the route we go. Because I do agree that is the preferred way to play that game because aiming is just so cool. Then you never know. I might just buy Quest 2 and do the VR version. So screw it.
You gotta play Outbreak with them.
Oh yeah, we're doing that. That's
Oh.
happening. I think I might try to system link. I don't know that you can. Now I say it out loud. I was thinking, man, that'd be really cool to play like with somebody, but I don't know that you can system link.
I'm pretty sure that you can play it like maybe not so legally with a computer.
So there are versions out there that are less than legal, but have had some advancements made.
Ooh.
I'm a part of some groups where people play it. As a matter of fact, someone made a tablet version of Dead Aim, and Dead
Ooh,
Aim
really?
is one of my favorites, dude. That's a good
With touch.
freaking game.
Dude, imagine if they remade that for the Switch.
Yeah.
I really want them to remake the Umbrella Chronicles games for the Switch.
I want all the games
Mhm.
all over. I just want them to keep releasing them. Every platform, just put them out. I'll buy them.
Well, we're getting next month. We get what 4, 0, and 5.
Something like that.
I think is it next month, right?
Well, was it June 13th? We get the PS Plus premium thing.
Is that when we're getting them? No, I know we're getting them soon because they said that they're coming in the summer, and they said
Right.
early summer. So, and they said they're dropping them all at once. So, and they said they're free as long as you have,
PS5 versions. Yep.
yeah, as long as you have the PS4 version, you get the PS5 for free. So,
Rumor is that the PS1 versions will be playable once premium drop.
hopefully, there's trophies,
So, I don't know. They gave him a siphon filter, so that's
dude. Oh my god, that was
I know.
big news this week. Holy shit!
That was huge. All right, so that's all I've been playing. That's kind of the most important parts of it. So we are sitting about 45 minutes in the show. Josh, how are you looking on time?
I'm good.
All right, good. All right, well then, Zach, you want to hit us up with our leaderboards?
Leaderboards.
I can. The True Trophies leaderboard is the affectatious Donk in first place with 567 trophies.
Apparently, Scrooge or one of the McDucks is doing
Mhm.
the true trophy reading here.
And in second place is Residentdarrell with 36 trophies.
That's a terrible second place. Come on, guys.
In third place is Mr. TMNT84 with 19 trophies.
Man,
Dang, that's embarrassing.
Fourth place is Stink Palm with 16, and fifth place is Gaz Davis with 13.
I know Gaz is training. He's trying to get his summer build up. And as you know what? Gaz might be on his way to the States right now, as a matter of fact. So he's
It is
gonna
true.
be hitting them theme parks. I'm actually in 11 days, I think it is. I'm heading down to old Flo Rida, and I'm gonna meet up with your boy. So, appreciate it.
Well, the king has been dethroned yet again this week. This week it is the Alpha Seagal leaderboard. The Alpha Seagal with 5,230 achievement points.
There we go.
the Steven Seagal.
the one and only. Appreciate
The Styling on Your Bro in second place with 1,480 achievement points.
He ain't styling on nobody this week.
Negative.
Got
Well,
styled on.
he's styling on the rest of them. In third place, surprisingly making his way back up the leaderboards, GDI Master Ace with 1,065 achievement points.
Yeah.
And it's funny because him and CJ are both, him and I'm Styling on You Bro are both playing the same game. They're both playing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
It is.
But in fourth place, we got Static with 500 achievement points.
Hey, I want to give a
And-
shout out to Sadik real quick. He gave us some really kind feedback on YouTube, so we greatly appreciate that.
I'll take a slurp of that.
Oh God, I was hoping I missed that.
No,
That's what she said.
just for you, because I had to listen to Time to Check My.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck that shit.
All right, moving on. Look,
Get
okay,
it.
here we go. All right, and in fifth place we got Redbeard Rick, rounding us out at 245 achievement points.
Hey, Tricky.
Stop it! You're getting me off topic, you jerk. So I swear to God, Tricky, I'm going to murder you myself. And yes, you can use this as evidence when I do. Yeah. So that's our leaderboards. Darrell, do you have our backlog beatdown?
I got it. But before we get into the backlog beatdown, I want to give a special shout out and another slurp to
Guys.
that's right, Murdered Out 615X. I forgot to mention this in the beginning during the toast section, but Murdered Out left us a review on iTunes, gave us the old 5-star, and said that they love the show, especially when CJ is on. CJ getting that love. So,
Is that one of
Good season.
CJ's burner accounts?
hey, you know
The
what?
Thunder from Down Under.
That's right. If it is a burner account, we gladly welcome it. As a matter of fact, for those of you who are listening to the show, if you have never reviewed on iTunes, please do. And if you have reviewed on iTunes, please create burner accounts and say nice things, even if they're about CJ. All right. In the backlog beatdown, I'm styling on you, bro, is styling all over you guys with 88 points. Next is CJ with 67. Redbeard Rick with 59. Diego with 56. He's coming up for Redbeard Rick. He's coming after. Next up, you got Residentdarrell with 43. You got JT with 39. You got Gaz with 35. You got Zach Ledford with 19. Excuse me, I almost gave you an extra point.
No, 21. Where's my update?
No hablo el updato español.
LBLB3 at 2 o'clock in the AMs. Or no,
Hey,
it was only 1 o'clock in the AMs.
I was about to say I was working. So you might be at 21. You're 19 tonight. All right, James the Nerd at 17. Jared at 16, tied with Joseph Priestley at 16. Alex at 14. Noah the Builder at 13. Soon to be 15. He's coming up. Beating old Trickymic at 12. Homer, Yield, and Corey tied at 9. Spider Packs at 6. Spider Packs is moving up. You got MZ at 5. You got T-Bird at 4. John Michael Smart at 4. We got Jim at 3. Now, I forgot to mention this earlier, too. We want to give a special shout out and throw some prayers out there to Jim. Kalaya posted on Facebook that Jim has a brain tumor and it's going to have surgery next week. So we definitely want to throw all our love and prayers out there to Jim. Jim is a good dude. For those of you guys who don't know who Jim is, and you just hear us read his name out on the backlog beatdown, Jim creates the spreadsheet for this group and for this activity every year. And every year it gets more and more involved. And Jim is a freaking wizard. He's a super smart guy. And what he does is he sets this thing up so we can pull all kinds of data. So usually halfway through the year, we do like a backlog beatdown update. And we kind of talk about who's beating what on where. And then at the end of the year, Kalai comes on with a ton of stats. We always do kind of like a big debrief on the backlog beatdown. And he sets that up to make that possible. So I definitely want to throw some love out there to Jim. Next, we got James McCall with 3, Kalai with 2, Levi with 2, and wow, it's Brandy with 2. Bringing up the rear, as she likes to do.
Sure, she likes to bring up your rear, too.
I wasn't going there.
Whoa.
I will.
Whoa. You got to make it all weird and stuff. All right. Here we go. The reason you guys are all here is because this week's community questions are very, very good. All right. Now, originally, our topic of the week, or excuse me, this week's official topic was going to be an interview with some game devs. Well, last minute in preparation of launching their game, they needed to reschedule, which I was like, that's fine. I thought about maybe talking a little more PS Plus, PS Premium, but then I saw the community questions. I'm like, you know what? We'll bring on the boys and we'll make this happen. This will be a good time. So here we go. Community questions. MZ writes in and he says, what is the hardest game you've ever played? And what is the hardest game you've ever beaten? So we'll go around the board and we'll start with you, Josh. Hardest game you ever played, hardest game you ever beat.
Hardest game I've ever beaten was probably almost certainly Bloodborne. I know that some people say it's easy and you just gotta get good, but that was a enormous journey to beat for me. Hardest game I ever played is one of those things that like at the time it was hard, and like looking at it now it's not hard, but when you're a kid games play differently.
Yep.
Man, when Oddworld came out, the original Oddworld, I loved it, but there were sections in that game that were insanely hard for me. Like as a kid, I just didn't have the hand-eye coordination for the timing of that game. I loved that game, and now like it's not nearly as challenging as it used to be. But man, I remember getting so frustrated at some parts of that game. Just throw the controller around. But yeah, that was my first game that I was like, oh my god, how does anybody actually play this?
I get it. All right, Tricky, what about you?
I'm sorry, I was distracted. Repeat the question.
Hardest game you ever played, hardest game you ever beat.
Hardest game I ever played. Donkey Kong Country.
Okay. Hardest game you ever beat.
My Name is Mayo.
Oh, it gets you.
Hardest game I ever beat. I would say this is a little bit of a cop-out answer because I don't think I beat it to the extent I should have. Ninja Gaiden for the original NES, but I beat it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's my answer
But I
too.
beat it with using the save states. So if I died, I didn't have to go back to the beginning. So I don't know if you want to call that a real like beat the game.
Yes,
you
I've
roll
actually
credit.
beat that game, so yeah. I commend you for beating out save states though, because the last area is bullshit.
Still hard.
Absolute fucking bullshit. Like when you die and you have to go all the way back, I'm like, this is. I don't know. Beating Ninja Gaiden 2 though.
Man,
Because it
all of
doesn't
those
have-
games were tough.
And then
Yeah.
beating Ninja Gaiden like 2 on Master Ninja, like Ninja Gaiden 2 for like Xbox 360, that's probably my crowning achievement. Like that took every ounce out of me. Like I died like a gabillion times.
That's a lot.
Can I
Gabillion
can
is a lot.
I give a special mention to a game though?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I'm not gonna say this game was hard, but it was hard for me at the time. It was when I beat Mega Man 4 on the original NES without dying once in one straight playthrough.
That's an icon. That's beating any game.
Impressive, yeah.
Beating any game without dying is pretty
but
impressive.
That Mega Man 4 is by far my favorite Mega Man game of all time. But I challenged myself to beat that game without dying once, and I was able to do it.
I mean, I can get to stage 5 of Ninja Gaiden without dying now. It took like 5 years of like training myself to do it, but now I can do it. So that's without dying once. I could do it pretty consistently. I don't know if I can still do it, but like up till like last year, I could do it. And because I wanted to, like, you guys ever want to sit there and like train yourself to like speed run a game or get like super good at something?
Yes.
Like I played Ninja Gaiden nonstop on 3DS and on Wii U, like constantly. And then I played it again when I got it for the Switch, and I would just play it nonstop and just like learn all the intricacies of all the bosses and like all the fights. And then I watch YouTube videos and like get strategies down. And like there's crazy ass strategies. Like, do you know to play Ninja Gaiden the way you need to beat the final boss to actually beat him legitimately without like too much hassle? There's like this technique where you hold the NES controller on your lap, like you sit it on your lap, and you take your index finger and your ring and your pointer finger and your ring finger, and basically you do this like tapping motion like rapidly, because then you can hit the enemy like 6 times in a normal frame. So when you're fighting the final boss, Tricky, you know how like you have to like cut the tail off and then get in and get the rest of it done?
I don't remember that off the top of my head.
So yeah, there's 2 stages. There's one stage where it's like a floating thing, and that one's not too bad. You just have to have your your floating ninja power thing. You're like the ninja star one, and then the scroll basically, and then the last one you have to have you just have to do that rapid attack, because if you do it fast enough, you can kill the boss without even getting touched once. And I tried to get that rapid motion down, and it's like really fucking hard to do. But I don't know if you guys know this.
Looks really dirty to anybody walking in on you.
Apparently, because you're just like, you have like a controller on your knee, and you're just going like. I sound like Frosty playing a fucking fighting game. Like,
I've seen speedruns of Ninja Gaiden, and I'm like, these guys are not you.
Dude, my favorite thing is when they race. That's my favorite thing. And then one guy fucks up and has to go all the way back. And he's like, fuck. He's like, there's no way I'm catching this guy. Because you make like one flaw when you're racing somebody that's that good at Ninja Gaiden, there's no way you're catching them. It's like there's too much ground to make up. Just a tip for today. Do you know for the first few bosses, actually, all you have to do is duck and attack. They don't even hit you. And then shout out to my my man Ryu on Facebook. He does this series called Debunking, and basically he takes old really hard NES games and he debunks the difficulties. And this is like a series I found, and like I recommend everyone go watch this. I'll put a link to his channel in the Facebook page after I'm done recording. But like he did Debunking Ninja Turtles. That was his first episode. And man, he made that game look like his bitch. And he beat Contra without dying once.
How the hell did you do that?
Yeah. Because it's really not that hard. I watched him do it, Tricky, and I was like, man, this game is so X's and O's, it's not even funny. Like, all the bosses have such a distinct pattern, Tricky, that if you have the spread shot, you can kill anything without even moving on the screen. Or if you stand on a certain square, like the enemy can't hit you. So all you do is spam the spread shot, and it kills everything. And yes, Steven, it's called the spread shot, not the shotgun, you fucking idiot.
Which Steven are we talking about?
Mr. Fontana.
I don't listen to his show anymore. He's a traitor.
He called it the shotgun, and me and Andy will not let him live it down. It's the spread shot. It spreads. It doesn't. It's not a triple shotgun. It's a spread gun.
That's right.
Jesus. Does anybody else want to talk about what their biggest accomplishment was?
I say it should be Zach's turn now.
Hardest game I've ever played. Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the Last Sin.
Is that really that hard?
It is. That one is the one that I have like had the most trouble with getting through. Hardest game I've ever beat. So as a kid, I didn't have like one of the save packs for the Nintendo 64. And Tonic's Trouble was one of the hardest platformers that I have ever played, especially with an N64 controller. Like, not being able to save where you're at either. So it was literally like I'd sit down and I would try to beat it in a night, and if I couldn't, then I couldn't, and I was kind of SOL.
Then you played the game.
Then I played the game.
The game played you.
Yeah, it did for a very long time. That's all I got. It was a good platformer. If you guys want to check it out, you can. It's on Nintendo 64. You should probably be able to find it really cheap.
So Zach, it's all about the game and how you played. It's all about control.
How you make it.
What the?
Sorry, he's referencing the better wrestling company, WWE.
Oh Lord!
Whoa! Let's not start this conversation.
Zach started on my show. I'm just finishing.
I did. I sure did. I won't lie.
Yeah, but that's like a three. That's like a 3-on-1 handicap match on your show, because ain't nobody watched WWE on your show except for you.
It's a 1-on-1 because in order for their votes to count, they actually have to watch wrestling, which they don't.
No, that's not true. Alex watches AEW weekly.
AEW. Don't even try.
Yes, he does.
Hey, Zach, are you done with what you?
Oh wait,
I'm done. We got to keep moving. Hey,
right,
focus.
No, it's okay. It's okay, because I'll provide proof, and I will text Tricky a picture of Alex commenting to me on Wednesday nights while we watch AEW.
There you go.
That's not what we're here for.
Together, they can do it.
We're here for a community question. Calm yourself.
All right, so check it out. I would say the hardest game I ever beat would most likely be Spec Ops: The Line on FUBAR difficulty for the Platinum. That was very difficult and very trying. I don't know if it was the jank or if it was just the obscene amount of times that I died. Typically, when I play a game that's overly hard and overly frustrating, I don't go back to it. I'm like, I don't have the time for this. But I wanted that Spec Ops Platinum so bad that I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. That one mattered to me. So, but it was kind of a war of attrition. It was just like, I'm just gonna die, and I have to learn to just die and keep going. So, and then I would say the hardest game I ever played, those old Ninja Gaiden games were hard, and I want to say those, but I am going to say the hardest game I've ever played might be the most recent Fire Pro Wrestling game.
Oh, that just takes skill. Like those,
so hard. So hard.
Well, it's a different type of game, Darrell. It's like you have to damage your opponent enough to then unlock the ability to use the other moves in the match. That's kind of how it works. So, like, if you don't damage your opponent enough, you can't like do heavier damaging moves. It's like it all builds on it. It all builds on itself.
It's the Dark Souls of wrestling games because, like, it's so obscenely hard for no reason. I don't understand what I'm doing. I don't know why moves don't work. And
I just told you why.
I know why, but like playing the game, it's like it shouldn't be this way. I should just be able to pick man up, put man down. But what ends up happening is I get so frustrated. I get beaten immediately. And I'm like, why did I pay full price for this game that I can't technically play? And it's just, and I've gone back to
you can play it. You just have to learn how to play it.
Dude, it's beyond me.
Again, it plays you.
I'm incapable. I don't think I can do it. And what's wild is like, I freaking go back to this game every so often. And I'm like, today's the day I'm going to learn how to play Fire Pro Wrestling. And then, because there's so much DLC and there's so many characters, and it's like, there's got to be something here, right? And I just lose instantly, and then I'm done. So.
Honestly, my biggest problem with that game is the fact that it's not on the Nintendo Switch. Because it would be like the perfect wrestling game for the Switch.
That's your problem with every video game.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, Switch needs more love.
Yeah. It's like this game is fundamentally broken, but you know what the problem is? It's not on the Switch.
This game would be game of the year, but it's not on the Switch.
We should have done Loot Bros first, so I wasn't so fired up after.
He's coming in here spicy after Trophy Wars.
He's always spicy towards me.
All right. Next up, Matt G writes in and says, "What is your favorite console from each generation?"
Oh, Jesus God.
Josh.
Oh, God.
Man, you might have to swing back around to me. I got to think about that.
All right. Tricky.
You know my answer already.
All the PlayStations. Got them. So I'm going to say that's mine too.
Oh, jeez.
Realistically, go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, Zach, do you want to go first? You want me to go?
I don't care. Too long didn't read. PlayStation 1, Xbox 360, Xbox One X. There you go.
There you
go. Well, I guess Atari because it's its own generation, right?
There you go.
Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PS1, PS2, Xbox 360, PS4, PS5.
That's a good one. Good list.
We said generation, so how do you lump the 360 and the PS2 together? Because that's the weird part, because I don't know how you really determine.
PS3 and 360 were a generation, not PS4.
Yeah, it's yes and no.
I mean, okay, so the Game Boy then. Fuck it, it's every generation. like stop with your semantics. No one's picking the Virtual Boy.
All right, I remember loving the N64.
Okay.
I remember liking Sega more than I did, like the Sega Genesis more than the Super NES.
Okay.
I definitely was PlayStation right on through for everything else. I had a 360, but like PS2, PS3, PS4. I mean, that's always been my go-to.
Good man.
Good man.
I'm sorry you don't love yourself.
Oh, I love myself frequently.
We went there. Okay. We went there.
All right. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start with that NES, because I played NES a good bit. My dad. I I would say friggin' I had the Sega, my brother had the Super Nintendo, and even though I liked the X-Men and Mortal Kombat and Sonic better than the traditional stuff from the SNES, like the Ninja Turtle games, Turtles in Time, that stuff was just, looking back on it, I think that I might be a SNES over Sega. But then it's definitely PlayStation. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. I was an Xbox 360 guy to start with, but ended up PS3 before the generation was over with after multiple Red Ring of Deaths. And even though the 360 had some killer exclusives, once I got to MGS4 and Heavy Rain, and then Uncharted and Last of Us, it was over. Like there was no looking back. PS4 hands down without even thinking twice about it. And then so far PS5, it's a kind of a generation by itself right now. There's no competition at all. I would say handheld wise, the Vita. I mean, come on. Vita beat the 3DS. Vita beat the brakes off the 3DS. It beat the DS.
Oh, that's the funniest. Man, you got jokes.
The Vita went back in time and beat the freaking Game Boy and the Game Boy.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's fucking Terminator now.
Yeah, it's freaking.
You wish it was.
Daryl, get out.
I'm playing the Vita right now.
Get out.
You can play it all you want, but the 3DS and the DS library dwarfs everything.
You know what? God. If you were to do a 1-to-1, a plus
the Game Boy Advance kills everything.
A plus one for every good game, and then a minus one for every shovelware piece of trash, you would be so far in the negative.
No, absolutely not for the Game Boy Advance. You know how many games are on the Game Boy Advance?
I gotta chime in on this. It's a hot take, but Daryl was right. Daryl just made a good point. If you take away all of the trash that was released on the 3DS, it does not compare.
Do you want to know why, Tricky?
Because you're worse than Alex. Nobody lets me finish the statement. Go ahead.
You want to know why, Tricky? Because the Vita lost support so fucking quickly that there's barely any fucking games to fucking count.
Lost support?
No.
Because nobody loves it other than you two.
No, hey,
and everybody else on Vita Island.
That's right. Hey, but here's the thing: like, it didn't get a ton of Sony first-party support, right? But the stuff that's on there is gold, and there's a ton on there. Especially all you little JRPG nerds out there. The Vita is basically heaven.
It's more heaven on 3DS.
No,
the JRPGs on there are fucking insane.
Nintendo,
absolutely insane.
In any era, has never been able to compare with an Xbox or a PlayStation. Ever.
I agree.
They've never been able to compare. They're stuck in their old ways. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Zelda. I love Metroid. I love Mario. But
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay that it's gonna be funny. Man. It's gonna be funny when the Switch outsells the PS5 and the other one by the
crack? Are you smoking crack?
Okay.
If I
thought we were trying to keep this short, and this is what
it's going to happen because of the weird generational.
No, you know why it's going to happen? It's because it's going to release 5 versions of the Switch. Oh, this is the dock version. This is the on-go version. Oh, let's release our pro version. Oh, here's our pro version for on the go. That's all.
Well, how many fucking PS4s are there?
Yep.
3.
2. 2.
The slim and the regular.
The original. The Slim and the Pro. There are 3.
Technically the same.
All right.
No, because the original didn't come in a 1 terabyte variant. The Slim came in a 1 terabyte variant.
No, he's right. It did.
So wait, is that 5? Is that 4 then?
There's 3. There's the original PS4, the Slim, and the PS4 Pro.
Oh yeah, no, we got all those fucking bundle versions that came in different colors.
And I just want to point out that when you look at overall game console sales, out of the top 5, Sony owns 4 of those spots.
That's right.
Okay?
Get it?
There's no denying that. Sony carries the number 1 spot. The 4 spots.
That's right. They carry the whole.
And the number one best-selling console of all time, the PS2, which is better than the Switch.
I agree. This conversation's over. Actually, this show's over because there's nothing better that can be said.
You're out of your
That-
mind.
I disagree with that.
All right, Jared writes in and says, have Trickymic or Residentdarrell played the game of the year for 2022? My name is Mayo3. If so, how does that steaming pile compare to the one left at Johnny's side of the bed? Hashtag what if the turd was not from Herd?
Can I just
They-
say that
I heard about that, and apparently Johnny Depp accused 2 people of leaving a turd simultaneously in his
Leaving
bed.
the dookies.
Yeah.
A pair of dookies.
So what does she have, like a turd accomplice? Like, is this some kinky shit she like?
Yeah, it was apparently
Fuck, this
one
shit's
of their
deep now.
one of their mutual friends, and he was I don't know, he was really drunk.
Some
when he
fucking
called
kinky
there,
shit,
so-
man.
How does that conversation? Hey, you want to go back to the house, have a few drinks, poop in my husband's bed?
I don't know. It was
Like,
weird.
it's called
And then I-
defecating.
Oh my god! Sometimes Joe, your laugh. I swear.
It's just like it's so good. It's like you could tell when Joe got caught off guard.
That's good stuff.
Can I
good
just
stuff.
say that Jared
Yeah,
is
so this whole-
obsessed with Amber's turd?
Hey man,
Yeah, I
it's a
agree.
thing. She's changed his life for the
I
better.
feel like
right?
that's the closest he's gonna get to her.
Well, here's the
Oh.
thing, right? So Jared has 2, beautiful twin baby boys, and right now he's doing double duty on the duty. So it's just
Duty.
fresh in his brain, Like it's like A, he's got to wipe his own butt, right? B, he's got to wipe these 2 boys' butts. So and now all I can think about is how every time you turn around in the news, you got Amber Heard dropping dookies. It's just that's all he knows.
He's like, man, I want to write that butt.
That needs to be the first thing on the show.
I didn't even hear what he said. I don't think I want to hear what he said.
Oh my god, it's the intro.
Man, I want to wipe that butt.
That's the name of the show. That's the title of the show.
Oh yes, that's the perfect time. Man, I want to wipe that butt.
It's like Dr. Seuss. Have you heard about Amber Heard's turd?
Oh god almighty. Yeah, so Jared, you do you, bro. You do you.
Which herd took the turd?
Have you heard about the turd?
She
So,
would
all
not,
right.
could not in a box.
Could not in a bed.
Well,
No,
that's
no. She could in a bed. That is what Johnny said.
oh. All right, so check it out. To answer the question, Jared, no, we haven't played the game of the year yet. So the game of the year for 2022 is going to have to be played January 1, 2023.
Bro, yeah, you guys have to have a
001.
simultaneous Twitch streams where you race for the platinum.
My name is Mayo Race.
You funny you say that because me and Daryl had like a 5-minute conversation about at the stroke of midnight. We're both going live on Twitch to get the spam purge out of our systems.
Bro, I
right.
want to see who gets the most in the first hour. I'll donate $25 to the winner. And if anybody
Oh
else
my
wants to
God.
put up
That's gonna be
$25
me
too,
because Daryl's an old man, has to go to bed.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see.
that's a challenge.
Listen,
That's a challenge.
Joe, have you not realized that every single time Daryl has ever challenged me to a trophy war or a trophy challenge, he has lost?
If I wasn't at that
miserable.
wedding, we would have fucking
No,
annihilated
you would
guys.
not have.
My teammate turned on
Yes,
me.
we would have, because we'd have one other person, and I would. And
My
unlike Daryl
teammate
and his
turned
son,
on
I
me.
would actually beat Gaves.
Kawhi and Jim turned on me.
They did sabotage him.
sabotage.
Your son sabotaged you.
Yeah, turn his back. on his
Kalai
own-
and Jim
on his own
donated
kid.
money where he had to play 6 hours of some Dance of the
6
Necromancer.
hours of unbeatable
Bro, that
game.
killed you. Like, they killed all your drive for like the rest of the stream. You're like, oh, I'm dead.
At some
Was it?
point, Daryl turned off his Twitch stream. He was like, I can't even do this anymore.
I did. It was so bad. I was so deflated, and I was fighting being tired too. And I was just like, "This is awful." And then I got to a dance I couldn't beat.
It's just 3 hours
then
of doing
next-
that same dance.
Oh my gosh, dude! I was just like, "This was it." That was the turning point. After that, I didn't have it in me.
They did sabotage
So,
me as well too.
Yeah, but not near as hard. And the thing is, you should have never sabotaged your partner. What you should have done, and this is just me. I mean, granted, they did it for the lulz, so it was all good. And the kids are the ones that benefited. But if it was me, I'd have been like, well, let me donate to sabotage your competition, and then let me, if I donate anything at all, donate to find something quicker, faster, and easy.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. We had a good time. I quite enjoyed that whole experience. That was a great experience for me and my son. And Zach, I would disagree. I don't think my son sabotaged me at all because he jumped into Fallout 4, which is not beatable. But that dude put some mad points on the board and also had a good time. What I was worried about.
Not just that. Remember, he finished a game, like platted it, and kept playing it for like another 45 minutes. There's another 45 minutes of a platinum.
I agree, but like, it'd be different if that was like Joe or somebody. It was like, but like for the thing I was worried about is that my son was going to do this and it was going to burn him out of like any kind of trophy competition or anything. So the fact that he kept playing a game and was essentially trying to break the game, like, and it was fun to him, I was like, you know what? You keep doing it, dude. And as long as you're having a good time, we'll do this again next year. So we're definitely excited about it. We'll do something fun for Extra Life and this year. Since we can't do spam, we might like pick a game or something to just experience like in real time. And
or hear me out, dude. We could do a speed run competition of a certain game.
I mean, yeah, we can do all kinds.
Or like a legit game.
Or we could do like a big mass multiplayer thing, where we get the community involved and rotate people in and out.
Evil Dead for a whole 24 hours.
I bought it this morning, so you guys are ready.
Back for Blood, so you can get through the
campaign,
hardest campaign, the campaign on the hardest difficulty first,
or just on a normal difficulty, because like even on easy, that game's stupid, ridiculously hard.
Oh, I'm aware. That's why I said the hardest difficulty. Yeah, because we're trying to do a 24-hour challenge here, buddy.
You couldn't get the friggin' trophies on release by yourself, so I didn't play that. I own 2 copies of that game, and I haven't revisited it yet. I know they patched it, but I didn't play it.
Did they patch it?
Yeah, they supposedly did it. I don't know. I didn't check. All right, Jared writes in again.
Hold on, I want to say one more thing about the war. Joe, you responded saying that if you were there, just know that we didn't have Mark there as well, so you wouldn't have made a difference. Because Mark would have demolished your ass.
I believe in Duke. I don't believe in Duke.
I believe in Joseph Priestley. Even though his name is Two-Face and killed Batman.
All right, sorry. Jared, go ahead with Jared.
All right, Jared writes in and says, which of the live-action Batman movies best resembles the turd left in Johnny's bed?
Jesus Christ.
Batman vs. Superman, duh.
Agreed.
That must be one magnificent turd, man.
Negative.
Most comic
well-scripted turd.
That's right.
Stop it.
Yeah.
There was more emotion in that turd than
that's a turd that I don't want to wipe.
The world building of that turd is just that's a masterful.
My answer is the Snyder cut.
Get out. Get out. Get out. I actually enjoyed that. Get out.
The Snyder cut was so good.
The 4 hours.
The Snyder cut was just 4-hour cut of a really bad movie.
You know what? If we're comparing it to her turd, I can imagine that 4 hours of just slowly laboring down and just grooming.
I'd rather let Amber Heard take a dump on my chest for 4 hours than watch that movie again.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of guys would like that, Tricky, but we're not here for that right now.
You say that like you would, like that has anything to do with the Snyder cut. That's just your fantasy. Come on, just do
I'd have to go with the Adam West Batman movie because it was quick and it's pretty funny.
And it's got a bat toozy. Get it?
Never gets old.
Yeah, I would say George Clooney. That was a turd of a movie.
It wasn't, but it wasn't his acting though.
Oh, it was.
His acting was fine. The problem was the way the movie was written, and they've admitted to that.
His acting was like a PG version of Dusk Till Dawn, which was trash.
Can we all just agree that Keaton was the best Batman?
No, he was good.
Nope.
He ain't the best.
Who would you say was better Batman than Keaton?
Baby.
Kevin Conroy.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All time.
We're talking about live action, not voices. Kevin Conroy definitely better.
That's not what you said.
Okay.
You just said that's Batman.
We were talking about live action.
Affleck.
Yes. He's the best voice, but live action, who's the best Batman?
Affleck.
Get that.
No. I'll agree with Michael Keaton on live action wise. Yeah.
Look, if you look at it, who's the most comic accurate?
Affleck.
Who plays
Okay,
that character?
hold on. Wait.
I don't know. Pattinson threw it down.
I don't know
Battinson's
what
great.
Batman you're reading.
He was
He
really good.
He did a really good job. He was like year one Batman, and he did.
And they finally figured out the cowl issue in that movie. They finally figured it out.
It's terrible.
No,
It's
they made it
worse.
practical so you can move your head at least
Oh
and
my
not look like you have a
God.
fucking bicycle helmet
No.
on.
That thing looks so stupid. There's so much freaking jaw in there. It's literally the worst cowl yet. I've said that since day one. Worst. Hashtag worst cowl.
I mean, a lot of people were bitching about because the cowl is not connected to the cape anymore, but I was like, my dude needs to be able to move his head. Like, it's not 1994.
I mean, if you've seen how big that forehead is, like he definitely needs some leverage. He could land a bat plane on that head.
That's right.
I love the movie, but good lord, the forehead on that boy.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely
Cro-Magnon.
It's a lot of sparkle.
Josh, you need to join us for our deep dive on that movie.
Oh, I'll
He does.
plan to.
Oh boy.
All right, Jared also writes in, which Bat villain most likely left the turd on Johnny's bed? Hashtag what if the turd was not from Herd?
Scarecrow.
Elaborate.
Professor
crow.
Pig.
Oh, that's a good one. That's
He
a
was-
deep cut.
Scarecrow's tripped on his own scarecrow toxin and left a shit in the bed.
Nah, bro. It's from Clayface.
Oh, he left a little residue.
Actually, it was from Bane. It was a protein shit.
I'm gonna say it's from
Good
Kite
thing
Man.
the darkness is your
I think-
ally.
Kite Man flew in on his kite.
I was born in this shit.
You guys are missing the obvious
Lord.
answer. Though. Catwoman.
Cats
not
do
We
love
love
said
Bob.
crap
we
on
said
the bed.
we said villain, not antihero. Fix
He's a
yourself.
villain.
Plot
He's probably
twist, it was
rogue.
Alfred.
He was like, I'm so sick of this.
Passive aggressive.
Mr. Wayne, I left a duty in your bed. No, I think if we had to pick any Bat villain, it would be Kite Man. He comes flying in on the kite.
Man.
He's like, nobody takes me serious.
Nobody knows who the hell he
Shark.
is.
He drops the old dookie and he flies out. And he's like, hell yeah.
Ah,
Have you guys seen any of the Harley Quinn cartoon?
that show is
Oh my
so
god.
funny. It's
Not
so
yet.
funny.
I accidentally watched it. Did I tell you the story there when I accidentally
No.
tried to watch it with Elliot?
Oh my god!
And I was like, nope. Like I got a minute in, heard the first curse word. I'm like, we're not watching this. Sorry.
It's so
Yeah.
funny.
And she
Dude,
started crying, and I'm like, oh, well, we'll watch Suicide Squad again, honey.
man,
Just
Commissioner Gordon on that show
It's
is
like,
it's so funny.
show's so good.
he's drunk and he's in love with
I'm a Harley
Batman.
Quinn fan.
No.
I couldn't watch that show.
Dude, it's terrible. In my opinion, really, I watched the first season and it was funny. The second season was trash.
I didn't watch the second season, but the first season was hilarious.
Yeah.
Felt like Venture Brothers.
It definitely is something. It's wild, but Kite Man's hilarious in it.
Yeah.
He's like, it's Kite Man. Hell yeah!
I just love how much like Batman can't stand Gordon. He's like, you
Yes.
used to be a damn good cop. I damn still am.
He's freaking drunk. So, all right. Next up, we got Gaz with a serious question. Does which one of these franchises would you be excited about if they were to reboot them? And do you think any of these are likely? So the list reads as this: Medal of Honor. Would you guys be excited about that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Do you think it's likely we'll get a new Medal of Honor?
No.
Yes.
Owned by EA, no.
Yes.
What?
Well, after EA is purchased by Embracer,
Yes, I was gonna say
then yes.
what's their purchase still? We'll get it.
They're gonna have to
next.
pay. They're gonna have to buy the DLC for it, but
That's right. Next, Jack and Daxter.
no.
Just make a new one.
I've never finished a Jack game.
Yeah, I never played
First
those.
two are really good.
Never played those.
All right. Twisted Metal.
Yes, now. Do it now. They are
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it, and they're making like a TV series of it too.
Dude, they just cast Nev Campbell in that.
yeah. So I'm
What?
sure we'll get another game.
Yeah. Dude, it's got a banger cast, apparently.
Yeah.
I didn't look at the whole list, but like it's got Nev Campbell, and I'm like, oh man.
There you go. I can get down with that. All right. SSX.
Yes, now. 100% now. Like, I want EA
Yes,
EA
now.
Big to come back so bad. Like, bring that and NBA Street back. Oh my god, please. Please now. And Def Jam. Bring Def Jam back too.
Oh, dude, yes. All right, what about Resistance Fall of Man?
No.
I think they're bringing it back. I think we're going to get ported versions to the PS5, trophy support for Resistance 1, and I do think Insomniac is going to pop us out a Resistance game to break up the Marvel monotony. Now, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I think that what we're going to have is Insomniac is going to bust out or they're going to give it to one of the lesser teams. But
I do think we're
going to
see a remaster. I don't know if we'd see a new title.
With the fact that they're making Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, you're talking at least 5-6 years before we even see something like that.
Oh yeah,
Bro.
I think we'll get remasters first. But the
If they
thing
don't-
is we got that Insomniac in North Carolina, dude. I think they're the ones that make the Ratchet games. I think we should get.
Yeah, but they're working on a sequel to Ratchet already. Dude, it won a lot of Game of the Years last year.
It did. I just think that it's time. They've been teasing it so much, man, for the past year. They're constantly posting stuff online about Resistance. Constantly.
If we get remasters, then I'd say we're gonna get a new game.
I mean, it'll probably come out before Starfield comes out, though.
Oh yeah, that's never coming out. All right, Titanfall. Do we get? Didn't we just get word we're getting another Titanfall game? That's part of that Jet Force or that Nvidia leak.
I mean, I don't know, man, because
Leaks
I
are
feel like-
weird.
Apex did so well for them that I don't know if they'll ever go back to making Titanfall.
They will.
I mean, everybody wants it. It's crazy how that game didn't sell at all because of when it came out. Because it came out like the same day as Call of Duty, but like
It was 1 week was Titanfall, 1 week was Battlefield, 1 week was Call of Duty. Boom, boom, boom.
so dumb. I'm so glad like we don't really have that anymore. Like it's a little bit more spread out now. Well, I mean, I guess that happens when everybody delays their fucking game, though.
Sure.
They stop promising things before they're made.
I'll promise whatever I want.
I would
Do
love
I want-
Titanfall 3. I thought Titanfall 2's campaign was so freaking good.
Yeah, it's a
But here's the
great
problem,
campaign.
Daryl. Watch what they're gonna do. Because of the success of Apex, they'll go back and make like Titanfall 3. It'll be all multiplayer like the first one.
Yeah.
No. All right, hear me out. So they have built such a broad and wondrous story behind Apex. All the seasons have like some of them have like a comic-esque like episode to it. Some of them are just talking, but they've built such a backstory to all of the legends, and it's still growing and developing. I think they're going to make another one because actually one of the legends, her dad was like in a Titan, like legitimately, like her dad was like a Titan pilot. So I think they're gonna the next one will probably follow him. Who was eating?
I was about to ask the same thing.
I mean,
Somebody's gonna get
Uh,
beat.
hmm.
Oh my god! Mute
Come
your
on,
mic
Joe.
before I smack you.
dear Lord.
Can't finish a pledge game. Can't mute his mic to eat.
Jeez, amateur hour over here.
Listen,
All
I'm
right, so
hungry, bro.
Hey,
Next
I
up.
already ate a whole thing of voodoo fries on mute. I don't want
do
to.
you guys remember the Mercenaries games?
Yes,
Mhm.
We talked about that.
Good.
just port them. I don't even need a new one. Just give me the first two in
Dude,
the
yeah,
collection
for real.
with trophies. Oh,
because they didn't. So Mercenaries 2, I played on Xbox 360. Amazing
so did
game.
I. Yeah.
But they didn't. Was that on PS3?
No, it never got ported. I don't think.
Yep, that's something we gotta have. Do I think we'll get it? Only if Embracer buys it.
I mean, why? What did they go on to make after Mercenaries that they stopped making Mercenaries?
They went out
Wasn't
of
that
business.
pandemic? Yeah, they got shut down.
No, but like all the developers went on to make other things, didn't they?
I'm sure we could track them down, but I thought that was the EA studio that EA shut down,
Yeah, but I think they shut them down and put them on other projects.
and they probably put them on a foosball.
EA Football Club. Get the
Maybe.
name right, Daryl.
All right, next up, Splinter Cell.
We're-
Mm.
The UB just finally said
yeah,
they're
we're
going to
getting
do
out of
it.
the Splinter Cell.
Yes, thank God. Finally, please bring back Sam Fisher for the love of all that is holy.
Now who's
He's
fucking eating?
old now.
What?
Yeah, you sound like you got food in your mouth, bro.
That
Thank
wasn't
you, Ghost
food.
Rider.
He's got something in his mouth.
Eh.
Ah! That's Amber Heard's turn.
It was a banana. All right, here we go.
Chocolate banana.
We're going to end the show with the last two questions. This right here would be considered this week's official topic.
Twat, twat. Twat, 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 twat.
There you go.
Twat, 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 twat.
All right. Diego writes in. He says, I want to hear the Loot Bros perspective on the real questions, the hard hitting real questions. How was the initial journey for you guys when you finally managed to move out on your own and start your life? Example being buying your own house. Were you scared, nervous, excited? We'll start with you, Josh. How was it when you became a real boy and became an adult?
You know, I just being honest, I lived with my parents for a while, you know, up until I got married, because, you know, there just wasn't any reason not to.
Yep.
I was working, you know, I'd been teaching for a few years, enjoyed it. You know, we got married, and you know, you think it's gonna be easy because you love each other so much, but man, those first few years were tough.
Shit's
Like you have to, it's work. Like you don't realize how selfish you are. You don't realize, like,
Oh my God. It's the hardest thing.
yeah, like you just don't realize how many things that person that you date does differently than you do, and how many things you do that like will drive them crazy. But like, you know, life is hard. I'd say that, like, I'm thankful to be doing life with a partner. And things are in a really good place, but I mean, it's a lot of ups and downs, and you go into it with unrealistic expectations, and then life comes and craps in your bed.
That's called a callback, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Tricky, what about you?
It was rough. But phrase the question again, just so I make sure I answer properly.
And just how was it for you getting started, like in life, whether it be buying your first place, getting married? You know, you've got a kid, so how just talk about some real life stuff.
Well, I mean, starting off, I was a little rough. I went into the army, got discharged, and then I didn't know what the hell I was doing with my life for a while. I was working a lot of jobs, wound up being homeless for 3 months, living in my car. That was a real humbling experience. And then I got lucky with the job I have now. I get paid pretty well for playing video games at work. But it was rough. Like the first couple of years, you don't know what the hell you're doing. And, you know, I'm sure everybody on the show, you know, can attest that, like, when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, you think you got the world by the balls. And then you get out on your own, you realize how much you really didn't know and how much you have to experience. And it changes your life around. So, yeah, it for me, it was rough until I was lucky enough to get the job that I have now. And now I don't worry about money. I don't worry about, you know, the worst thing I got to worry about is my baby mama, you know, throwing a fit. So
there you go. All right, Zach, what about you?
Big shell shock. So I was always like good at school, I guess is a good way to put it. So I had enough credits that I graduated early. And I was like, I got about halfway through my junior year, and I was like, you know what? School just isn't my thing. I joined the military. So I told my parents halfway through my junior year that I was like, I'm going to graduate early. I don't want to be here anymore. They're like, what? And I was like, yeah, you'll be 16 when you graduate. And I was like, yeah, I want to go out and actually be an adult. They were kind of about it. And then it was rough when we were transitioning, because I was like, I graduated and I was like, yeah, I think I'm an adult. And I tried to act like one. Parents didn't really care for my decisions. And then I finally left for the military. My perspective on the world changed. And after getting married, that was certainly difficult. First year and a year and a half of my marriage was the hardest year and a half of my life in general, period. Because I was married and I was in the military, so it was a lot of extra stress. But I'm happy where I'm at now. Quality of life has really improved, you know, moving out of the communist state of California.
Get it?
Yeah, and just enjoying it and living it and learning as we go.
There you go. All right, Joe.
I mean, I'm similar to Josh, where I lived at home until pretty much I got married, except for like the last, I would say, year before we got married. I just couldn't handle living with my mother anymore, so I just moved in with my my wife's family, who I've been dating at that point. We've been dating for almost 9 years. So I've been in the fall, in September, I'll be with my wife for 20 years and 10 years married.
Awesome.
So like we've been through everything in life together pretty much, and it's not easy sometimes, like especially when you've been with somebody that many years. It's really hard to like sometimes like even spark up a conversation some days, because you're like, man, have we really talked about everything there is to talk about, or are we just sick of each other some days? And then there's days when I just can't get enough of her, and I feel like that's what a true partner is. It's somebody that no matter how bad things are, how good things are, you always want to be with that person and go through the shit with that person and come through the other side and like look at them and be like, man, we did this together. We accomplished all of our dreams. I mean, to watch, someone beside you for 20 years, like think about that. I'm 37. So I've been with my wife since I was 17 years old. I was a wide-eyed kid when I met her, and I've gone through 3 degrees. I've gone through many jobs. I have a career now. I have a child now. I would say the biggest change in my life was on May 13th. And it was 6 years ago. And it was when my daughter was born. And it just changes you to the core as a person. You can no longer be the selfish prick that you were anymore, because you have someone else's life in your hands. It's not all about you anymore. Like when it's just you and your wife, yeah, it's you and your wife, but like, does my wife depend on me to survive? Not really. Like financially, sometimes maybe, but like this little child that I held in my hand, like it changed my whole perspective on life, and it made me eat a lot of hard truths that I'm a very selfish motherfucker. And like I like to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and I had to stop very quickly. And I still struggle with that till this day. I still struggle with time management as far as like family stuff, and I think that'll always be something that I struggle with. And that's a hard truth that I have to swallow sometimes, is just put the controller down and go downstairs and spend time with your family, because you only get one shot at this. Like that's one thing I'll tell you as a parent: you get one shot at this. If you only have one kid, if you have multiple kids like Darrell, God bless Darrell. I don't think I could ever do it. But like, I don't know how you do it, Darrell. I don't know how you divide yourself that many ways for that many kids. And I have to do it for just one kid. And I feel like sometimes it's hard to do just because of the kind of person I am sometimes. And I feel like I try to get better every day, and I try to learn from my mistakes. And I feel like it's definitely the realest thing that you can do is be a parent in life. It teaches you so many life lessons. It teaches you how to care for somebody more than you've ever cared for yourself, because that person 100% needs you at every turn. And I love my family more than anything on the planet, and I wouldn't be the man I am today without my wife 100%. Like I was going nowhere, and my wife, when I started dating my wife, like I was like a flunk at it. Like I wasn't a terrible student, but I wasn't the greatest. My wife is like the greatest. She's immaculate at everything she does, and she really made me sit and do homework with her every night, do different things. And I feel like it really changed who I was and my perspective on things. And then once I found my career in life and my calling, I feel like everything just really started to click. I would say the biggest thing and the biggest warning I would tell anybody to watch out for is don't spend money you don't have, because when you get older and you have like a good job like I have now, I still find myself living I'm comfortable, but I feel like I could be way better off with what I do for a living and how much I make. But I was stupid when I was a kid, and I have massive amount of debt that I still have to wipe out. So it's just being smarter when you're younger and not spending money you don't have. Like, and I know like that's very, very hard for all of us on this show, because we talk about video games every week and we try to be topical. So you have to be up to date with everything there is to be. And it's why I kind of appreciate our podcast a little bit more, because we're not like a super like top heavy, like, oh, you play the latest, greatest every week. It's kind of, bring to the table what you have to play and we'll talk about it. And I commend Darrell for having a show like that, and all of us for being able to to do that because it's hard to keep up, and it really is. And it's funny when I get people online that are like, "Oh man, you're just a Sony pony because you can't afford both." I choose not to afford both because why would I split my funds towards two separate systems when I could just concentrate on one and build a gigantic library? I just don't see the point in buying two massively expensive consoles when I'm gonna have to do it again in 5 years anyway. Just don't want to do that. But I would say, you know, real life shit on this show is very few and far between sometimes, but I feel like when we do it, it really comes from the heart. And I just want everybody to know, like, you know, it's a tough world out there, but if you really put your mind to something and you really achieve your dreams and what you want to do in life, it makes life way more worth living. And every day when you wake up and you go to a job that you actually give a shit about, you just see the difference in your attitude, in your everyday, and how you handle yourself. And I think that if you have a dream, go out and do it. Don't let no be the barrier to your success. Like I stumbled and I fell down many a times trying to get to my career end goal, and when I achieved it, man, let me tell you, the juice is worth the squeeze, man. Like that's the one thing I'll say in life. The juice is definitely worth the squeeze. If you want something, you got to work hard for it, and you got to put yourself out there because it just doesn't come easy. And I don't think, and we live in a world where, like, you know, there's a lot of celebrities and a lot of, you know, people who make it look like you can just like snap your fingers and become a millionaire, but they really put in a lot of hard work that you don't see behind the scenes. A lot of them do. So, you know, there's just a lot out there that you guys need to educate yourself on, and that's all I really have to say.
I want to add something on to something that Joe just said because I think it needs to be said as well. I got to give a shout out to anybody out there that's a step parent or somebody that's in a relationship with somebody who, you know, there's a kid that's not your biological kid. You have to give a special shout out to all those people because they're thrown into such a tough situation, and the fact that the child, while they may love your significant other to what they are, deep down they always know like that's not their blood. And you know, kids get into the rebellious stage. Like my daughter just turned 13; she's gonna be 14 this year. I know at some point she's gonna turn to the goddess and tell her, "You're not my real mom," and all that stuff. That kind of stuff weighs on a step parent, and when you see that firsthand, and like I joked around before when I said the worst thing I got to deal with is baby mama drama, but that's a real thing because every time there's a situation with my daughter, I have to go into a conversation, takes time away from from the goddess. You know, the goddess doesn't know whether or not she could step up and say something, or she's overstepping boundaries and all that other stuff. It's a tough situation, and like I commend people that stay together, but in my situation, I wasn't able to stay together with my daughter's mother. So special shout out to all the step parents out there that are raising kids that are not your own, because that takes a special kind of love and commitment in life. So,
bro, shout out to you for co-parenting, because I think that's another skill that like a lot of people take for granted. Like my parents co-parent from the time I was 9 till the time, you know, my mom passed away a few years ago. Like they coexisted. They had to, because they had to understand that, you know, even though they weren't together, they still had to have a united front when it came to raising a child.
Yeah, the best thing I can say to anybody that is co-parenting, because I appreciate that shout out, Joe, but I wouldn't say what me and my daughter's mother is co-parenting, because we butt heads quite a lot. Fundamentally, we're two different people, and we don't always see eye to eye on the way we raise our child. But the best advice I can give anybody that's in that kind of situation is very simply this: understand that when it comes to a situation, it's not about you. It's not about the significant other. It's about your child and what's the best option for the child. There, and Joe, you kind of like touched on a little thing and maybe like tear up a little bit, because you have to realize that sometimes you have to sacrifice for your child. And whether that's going without a meal, or, you know, stop playing video games, or you don't get the latest, greatest console, or whatever the case may be, you have to go out of your way to make sure your child has something. You know, it's something that a parent cannot describe to somebody else until you live it. Because the sacrifices I've made, and I'm not looking for any kind of ego boost or anything like that, the sacrifices a parent makes for their child is something that cannot be explained to a non-parent.
I mean, your life's not your own anymore. It just really isn't. It's not
Yep.
your life anymore. It's
I say probably one of my best examples was when COVID happened, and when we moved, I was collecting pops and stuff like that. I sold the majority of like a lot of my collection stuff because I just didn't have a job. It got super duper hard. So I was selling my stuff, or like right before we left, we promised my daughter for her third birthday that she could that we would take her to Disneyland before we left California, moved away. And I was short on some funds because I had to pay my insurance company $1,500 because of a mess up where I was going to be without insurance for the rest of my life. I just got done building my first PC ever. I was super proud of it, super happy. I sold that PC without hesitation because we promised my daughter she would go into Disneyland. So found a way. She went to Disneyland for her third birthday.
It's like right now, like I promised my daughter I was going to take her to DC in August, and I just had to pay like $4,000 in vet bills, and now I'm short on money. I don't even know if I can take her to DC anymore. But if it comes down to it, I'll sell my PS5 to take her to DC because that's what I promised her.
There you go.
I would say too, like, I think one of the biggest lessons I had to learn, and that my wife and I had to learn, was that because you go into it when you're young, you're so just like your outlook is so bright and you're so hopeful. You don't think, oh, I'm gonna have depression, or I'm gonna have anxiety, or I'm gonna have health problems, or I think like one of the things I had to learn was it's okay to not be okay. And then secondly, it's okay to ask for help when you need
100%. 100%.
Can I say one more thing before? I mean,
Yeah.
I just made a comment in the chat. I said this stuff got really real. So
that's what
I also want to point out because I watched TikTok, and one of the videos on TikTok that really got me was a woman was asking, when a guy is feeling something or going through some shit, who do we go talk to? And a lot of the guys say, we don't talk because we don't feel like anybody hears us or cares what we feel. And a lot of the times guys internalize that pain and struggle. Just know, anybody that's listening to this show, you have to find an outlet to get that frustration out. To be honest, Trophy Whores was my outlet to get that stuff out because I was going through some bad times with my daughter's mother. When I started Trophy Whores, I legitimately started it because that was my hour to 2 hours where I didn't have to worry about anything. I could sit down, talk to video games with guys, like-minded, and for those 2 hours was my escape. So I just want to say to anybody that's listening to this, or male, female, or whatnot, if you're going through some stuff, don't internalize it. You have to talk because you may not feel like people give a shit. And I'm sorry for cursing. You may not. You may not care. You may not think people give a shit, but there are people that give a shit. And if you're with somebody or you're around people that are not willing to take the time to listen to you and understand what you're going through,
find better people.
Absolutely.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, because that stuff is soul cancer.
And I will tell you this, and 100%. If you are ever struggling, you need somebody to talk to. You need anybody to just listen to you bitch and moan for 45 minutes. Call me. I've given listeners of my podcast my personal cell phone number and told them to call me. And to this date, one person took up that option and called me at 3:00 in the morning. I stayed up on the phone with them for 2 hours just to listen to them vent.
See, that's the difference, but sometimes between that person being here and that person not being here anymore.
Right.
Yep.
And I mean, I posted. I mean, a lot of us know Dupes, and Dupes was going through some shit, and he reached out to me and he told me what was going on, and like I promised I wouldn't share it, but he just reached out to me tonight before I recorded my show and said that he wants to do an episode of Tricky Thoughts. And I'm not trying to plug myself. He wants to do an episode of Tricky Thoughts so he could talk. And I said, absolutely. Because he was like, talking about it is what helps the most.
Yeah, man.
I mean, keeping that shit bottled up, even like when my mom passed away 2 years, it was the hardest thing. It was the hardest shock in my life. Losing a parent is crazy difficult.
I just lost my
Like,
father in October.
It's just crazy. Like to think that one of the people that brought you into this world is no longer here it's just mind boggling.
Yeah.
It was something that was really tough on me, and it took me almost a year to get over. Like that, she just wasn't here anymore, and like I almost lost everything over it. I pushed family away, pushed friends away, because I just couldn't deal with the fact that my mom wasn't here anymore, because my mom was my person to talk to. She was my sounding board. She was the person I would always go to if I wanted to talk about anything, and she would just listen unconditionally. And I was always her sounding board. She would always tell me everything. Like, I remember, like, let's get, like, if we want to get real, like, there's times when my mom couldn't make rent when we were younger, and, like, I took all the money I had, gave it to her. And do you know what she did right before she passed away? She paid me back all the money that she owed me.
I like I said, I just lost my father in October, and one of the things my father used to yell at me about, and I'm very bad at it, is I didn't call him. I did go like a month or two where I didn't talk to him, but I don't call anybody. I personally hate talking on cell phones unless it's absolutely necessary. And now I find myself every so often going to pick up the phone and call my father, and I'm like, oh, I can't.
I mean, that's the one thing I'll always tell people: like, never leave a conversation like with a loved one in a bad state, because you don't know if you'll ever see that person. I always tell my daughter, like, my daughter has this huge thing now where she doesn't want to hug her grandma and her grandfather anymore, and I tell her every time, I'm like, you go and hug them. And I told her in the car one day, I'm like, you better hug them, because one day they're not going to be here, and you'll never get to hug them again.
And like, I don't know.
And I don't care that she's 6 and that my wife is like, well, she shouldn't hear stuff like that. I'm like, it's the truth.
They need to know that because
you don't know what could happen.
They need to know that, because one of the hardest things I ever had to do was tell my daughter that Grandpa wasn't here anymore. And I'm tearing up now because I remember the conversation. I got the call at 2:00 in the morning saying my father passed, and I had to call my daughter and tell her over the phone. I mean, she knew it was coming. We went to visit him before he passed, but that's one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do, is tell your child that their grandparent isn't here anymore. So, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. No, that's what Diego's asking for. So I'm gonna jump in and kind of lighten the mood a little bit. My wife and I have known each other since I was in the 3rd grade. We started dating when she was 15. I was 16. We have been together for like 21 years. Been married since 2007. So however many years that is.
15.
A lot.
Yeah. But she's freaking great, dude. My wife's super smart, super successful. And, earlier, Joe, you were talking about how, like, you wouldn't be anything without your old lady. Like, dude, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Like, my like, that's why I'm 37 years old, and I just went and got my MLO, because I'm like, well, I think I kind of want to do something that's like,
well, the first step is admitting that you're not grown up yet. So,
well, there you go. See, and like, but my wife's always pushed me to do, I'm not going to say I'm a super smart person, but like I was, in all the gifted classes, and I was poised or set up to graduate early, just like Zach. The difference was when Zach was 16, decided he wanted to go ahead and get out. I was like, this is stupid. I don't want to do this. And I just basically just floated until I was out of school. I'm a 4-time college dropout. So I dropped out of automotive class because at the time I was like, I kind of like working on cars a little bit, not so much the mechanic side of things, but I like doing body work. I watched one too many Fast and Furious movies, so I started doing weird stuff to my cars.
There's no such thing as one too many Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then
like 6 of them.
So then I went to business because I've always wanted to own my own business, right? So I was like, I'll go to business class. I'll be at business school. I'll get an associate's degree or some sort of certification, something in business, and then I'll open up a business. Surely if you go to business school, they'll tell you what business you need to open. Yeah. That just goes to show. So then I ended up dropping out. I dropped out of business, and I was like, man, this is crazy. I toured in a band for a while, and my wife and I, when we first got married, like we bought a mobile home and put it on some family land that we were paying rent for. It was like, hey, here's what we'll do. I'm eventually going to get signed, and I'm going to be some big shot rock star, right? So like we'll get this place and live cheap to start, and then whenever life, like takes off, when I'm on the road, we'll at least have some sort of residual income for this thing, so that if I'm not working a full-time job, I'm still contributing to the household, right? Well, here I am, 15 years later, still not a rock star.
Yeah, you are, Darrell.
I don't know about all that. So
had many an opportunity to be a rock star.
well,
Don't you got to play good music to be a rock star?
I think that's
hey.
part of it. I could be wrong.
Hey, don't you got to make a good podcast to actually get views?
No,
No, you just have to be hooked up with the Philippines.
no. you just gotta, well, you just
You
gotta
guys joke, but we're big in the
have an amber
Philippines.
turd.
I know.
Thank you, Joe, for finishing the joke. I appreciate it.
But I say all that to say this is like, I never really figured out, have I ever been nervous about anything? Diego, I didn't really get nervous about any of that stuff until now. I've got 3 children. I've got an awesome, amazing wife. And now I feel like the decisions I make or don't make affect them in such a way that, like, when I was younger and it was just me and my wife and the stakes weren't as high, it was like, no big deal. Like, we'll figure it out. I'll just work harder physically until we figure something out. And so now it's like, yeah, like this is our 3rd home we've bought, and like we do pretty good financially. I'm not, we could always do better, but like we do all right overall. And like, I'm able to play video games and buy comic books. I mean, so that's got to count for something. But yeah, man, like to kind of second what all these guys said, like most important thing for us is the family. Like I got to make sure that no matter what I'm doing with the show or with the 2 jobs, because I'm in transition now, not the 2022 transition, like the normal, like I'm transitioning careers, but like, like I got to make sure I'm spending time with them. So like, just kind of give like a rough example of what the weekend looked like for us, right? So Friday rolls around, and like all my kids are in some sort of sports or extracurricular thing. So Friday rolls around. Sports. I know, right? And my son's got football practice. My daughter, that was Thursday, she had dance. My son's got football. So my daughter didn't want to go to his football practice. So my wife went to.
Your daughter didn't want to go to his football practice?
Yeah, because typically I make everyone go to everything. And the whole family rolls up.
You suffer, we all suffer.
Yeah, well, we all support is the way we look at it. We all support. She didn't want to go to football practice, so my wife was like, I'll go. You do some mortgage stuff. I had some leads I could call and things like that. And then the little man took a nap on the couch. So I was like, cool deal. So I did a little bit of work while my daughter was playing on her iPad. The little man was napping, and then my wife was walking the track while my son was at football practice. As soon as they're home, I'm off. I'm like, nope, no more. It's family time. So I hang out with them. We do dinner. One of the things that I can't stress enough, and this is a rule my wife and I made when we were dating, was that when it's dinner time, it's family time. So no eating dinner in front of the television, no playing on our phones at the dinner table, no, whatever. Like when we break bread together, we have a meal together, that's when we're sitting back and it's like, how was your day? We decompress. How was school? What's going on in your lives? So we eat food and we talk about whatever's going on. We make our plans at the dinner table. Like we meal prep at the dinner table for the next week. Like, we talk about everything, and we've always made sure that time is family time. So kids always have a point of reference of when is it, no distractions. It's just us. Right.
Right.
And there's a few times this week where we've eaten on the go, or we've eaten like practice ran late or something happened, and we were eating everyone's eating their own meal, eating leftovers. and we didn't sit at the table. We just kind of ate while we prepared the next person's food. And it was like 2 days of that. And my wife was like, no, we got to get back on track. And it's just important, family time. On top of that, like, well, we do, like, we're Christians, so we do prayers and bedtime routine together. So like, we don't have TVs in the kids' rooms. Like we kind of have all that stuff set up in the main game area and entertainment areas. And it's like at night, each kid goes to their room, grabs a book. They're going to read, kind of read themselves to sleep kind of thing. And then my wife and I take turns just one-on-one, just talking with the kids. Like, so I might go and pray and read with and hang out with Paxton first, and then Noah, then Zoe, or then Zoe, then Noah, or vice versa. My wife will go and hang out with the other kid, and that gives them that one-on-one time to where it's like 9 o'clock, it's bedtime. Sometimes it takes us till 9:30, 10 o'clock, whatever. But like, then we have one-on-one time. So it's like, if there's anything you need to talk about, anything you didn't feel comfortable talking about at the table, anything you don't want your brother or sister hearing, or, my wife's a nurse and sometimes, and she's their mom, sometimes they don't want to say the my body's changing thing in front of dad, So, we just try to make sure that we're intentional with that time. My wife, fortunately, she works nights right now. So the nights that she works are the nights that I do all the content creation and major video game playing. So that kind of helps out. But whenever she's home, I try not to do any of this stuff. Now, tonight was a bit of an anomaly because she was called off of work. And then in the middle of y'all talking, she got called back into work. So she came, gave me a kiss, and she left. But typically I don't have, because I work and I'm separated from my wife, and she works and she's separated from me. Typically, I try not to take time away from her if I don't have to, because that's already sectioned out for us. But just trying to be intentional, just trying to figure things out. And, I don't do this enough, but something that I know is crucially important, but unfortunately I just haven't figured it out correctly yet, is dating my wife, like making time for her, like outside of with the kids. So I would highly recommend and encourage any of you guys listening to date your wife.
It's
Now, to be clear, are we dating your wife or?
Yeah, I was going to make that same joke.
I would prefer you not date my wife. I don't know that. I don't know that she'd be cool with that. I'm definitely not. But you're welcome to try.
I mean, I think CJ's got the easiest inside track. He's Australian.
There you go. I'm Australian. I can make my own rules. But yeah, so yeah, date your wives, spend time with your kids, and then play video games in all the hours that they're not around. So sometimes that's 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, learn not to sleep. Learn to become a vampire if you want to play video games when you have kids. That's literally this life lesson I've learned.
Yep. So no joke, man. The other night I woke up at 3:30 to take a leak, and I was like, well, I'm awake. Let's finish Call of Duty. So if you look at the Facebook timestamps, I'm timestamping my completion of Modern Warfare 3 at like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, why was he awake? And then I was like, oh, couldn't sleep. Got it. All right.
Yep. Couldn't sleep, had to pee. So I was like, you know what? Here we are.
At least it was a weekend.
Yeah. But you know what? My wife, she's been interviewing and been going through this process for this new job, which means she's going to be working during the day and not at night. So I will be learning real quick what 4 o'clock in the morning looks like again. that's going to be my thing. That used to be my thing back in the day, man. I get up at 4 o'clock, play till 6. It used to piss her off because she's like, I wake up and you're not in the bed. Well, if I turn the game on, you're going to be mad. So, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah, because you used to wake up.
I'm doing this for you.
You used to wake up with your son. You used to wake up with your son before school and play games.
Yep. So, all right, the final question of the night. Now that we've really kind of slowed things down with the serious stuff, Diego writes in and he says, "I need another Luke Bros fart story." So, when you guys met your significant other, was there a moment where you flat out embarrassed yourself on your first few dates? Josh, did you embarrass yourself farting in front of your old lady? Hmm. Hmm.
I'm not.
You guys want? I can go first.
I'm not
okay.
ever embarrassed by my gas. I'm too proud of it.
I mean, you shouldn't be. Rise up, bros.
I'm like,
That's right.
It's just farts. Come on.
all right,
All right.
so I'll take it a step further. I've never had been embarrassed by a fart, but I can definitely tell you I've crapped my pants on numerous occasions. And
Oh, we got one of the.
so like a few years ago, because I got IBS. I'm always.
Oh man.
I always
Do you
have
drive
to
with
do the
Do you drive with a shit bucket in your car?
best. No, but that's a great idea. So like,
You've never heard that story on here? How my friend drives around with a shit bucket?
no.
Oh, I will go first then, and I will tell you what the shit bucket is. So the shit bucket, my friend Nick, and I'll shout him out in the show. I love him to death. You can actually check him out on Twitch. I think he's Vulgar V on Twitch. If you want to check him out on Twitch, he's a Twitch gamer. So he has IBS, and he drives around with a shit bucket in his car. So anytime he has to take a shit, he just pulls over to the side of the road, takes the bucket out, and just takes his shit. But the terrible part about the shit bucket is these shit buckets used to come from the hospital that we used to work at, and they're pickle buckets. So, like, no matter how, and I don't know if you've ever cleaned a pickle bucket out, no matter how hard you clean out the pickle bucket, it still smells like pickles. So he just throws them in the back of his.
Even after
What
you
happened?
shit, it still smells like pickles.
Dude, you cannot get the pickle smell out.
I think that's a
It's
good
like
thing, isn't
it's
it?
like I guess it's like pickle flavored shit.
I mean, I'd rather smell pickles than shit.
I don't know if it's that strong, but like, so he would have all these buckets in his car, and we used to go to mad concerts together, and we'd go out, we like go all over. He was my concert buddy for years. Like before I got married, we would just hop in the car on a Friday or Saturday night, and we just go up to North Jersey or PA or to NYC, and we go catch a show, right? Like a metal show. And I remember this one time, he shit in the bucket, and all of a sudden we see flashing lights, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, fuck, here we go. This is actually going to happen. Like, I've been dying for this to happen anytime he shit on the side of the road. It's just for him to get pulled over for it, because this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like who shits in a bucket? Like, I get it. Like, I get he has IBS, so he has to, but like, I'm like, all right, this motherfucker's getting nailed for shit in a bucket. We're not going to this concert. This is the end of our night. So the officer pulls up, and he's like, are you taking a shit in a bucket? And he's like, yeah. He's like, what do you plan on doing with that bucket after you shit in it? And he's like, well, I'm not putting it back in my car. So he's like, are you just going to leave it on the side of the road? He's like, sounds like a good place to me. And I'm like dumbfounded that like this is his response to a police officer, to a man of the law, the long arm of the law, the justice, the vengeance, as
Oh God, no.
So he shits in this bucket. He gets pulled, but like the cop sees him, and he's like, he gives him this whole like story, tells him about the IBS, and the cop's like, all right, dude, I need you to throw this as far as you can into the woods, and we're just not going to speak of this ever again.
Dear Lord.
And I was like,
That was a cool cop.
I was like, this fucking just happened. It's like one of those stories where like it happens and like nobody speaks of it again. So like it basically like never happened.
And your buddies over here just Twitch streaming along, like, oh man, somebody's talking about my cop story.
Shit was fucking hilarious. But like, there's so many times he would just take a shit when we're driving somewhere, and he would just leave the bucket on the side of the road. And I'm like, man, I can't fathom what would happen if someone strolled upon that bucket. Like the shock and awe on that person's face. Like, what if that was an old lady who like pulled up and was like, man, wonder what's in this bucket?
I mean, at least have the decency to do it in Johnny Depp's bed.
I know, right? Come on.
All right, so for,
All right.
yeah, for me,
Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
we took a trip recently. Like I think it was last year. Pandemic time is weird, so it could have been 2 years ago. But like, we're packing for this trip, and my wife is like, "All right," she's like, "Did you pack extra underwear?" I was like, "No, I didn't pack extra underwear. I'm a grown man. She's like, you know how your stomach is. I was like, listen, like my stomach's been doing great lately. I hadn't had any problem in a long time. Like I got
The
mad.
second you said that,
Like, I
you
got-
knew you were
Curse
wrong.
yourself.
Like I got
Curse
ill
yourself.
about it. Like I made it. It like I had already stood up to her, so like I had to like.
You felt offended.
Yeah, I'm like I know how to pack underwear for myself. All right, so we get on the road, start heading off for our vacation. Man, maybe 20 minutes on the road, I had to fart, and like as soon as I farted, I could feel like my pants fill up with gravy. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Gotta be kidding me. And like I got real quiet. She looked at me, she's like, you crapped yourself, didn't you? I was like, maybe a little bit. So like I pulled over at a gas station, went to see like how bad a situation it was. And like dude, like I had this huge brown stain in the back of my jeans. So like before we could get on vacation, we literally had to pull in at the mall. And I had to wrap I had a coat wrapped around my waist to hide my pants. Go in there to buy new pants. Had to buy another pair of pants and change in the bathroom at the mall before we could get on the road.
Did you leave them in the fucking? Did you leave them for someone else?
Oh yeah, well I threw them away. I just threw them in the trash can. But I'm like, she's like, yeah, next time I tell you to pack more underwear, what are you gonna do?
Not
Crap
pack
my
more
pants
underwear.
again. Oh
Clearly, I'm gonna do this same thing.
He's like, I'll show you, woman.
my gosh.
I
That's
will
amazing.
crap
All
myself out of spite.
What about you, Tricky?
I don't get embarrassed a lot, but I have a couple shitting on the road stories. You know, anybody that knows me, knows I work for the Department of Sanitation, and basically what I was doing every night, outside of playing video games, of course, was I would take a truck from Manhattan, take it into Jersey, dump it, and then bring it back, and I had to do that twice a night. Well, every so often, because you're doing, the trip, you'd run into traffic. There's a couple times I've had to get out of the truck because there was no bathroom, go to the back of the garbage truck, and shit inside the hopper.
That's amazing.
That's so
my
disgusting.
The perks. Tricky's like, one perk of my job is I have a portable toilet.
You guys are laughing, but you guys are not understanding the implications of this. Is because
What if you fell in?
No. every time the truck was empty, but you have to understand, I'm in traffic.
Not anymore.
I'm in traffic, and you guys seen obviously a garbage truck. The hopper is the back of the truck where they actually throw the garbage in, and then you have the blades that come down and sweep the garbage into the back of the truck. Well,
Yep.
if I'm by myself, I don't have anybody to operate the blade, so I'm having to take the shit while people are literally 5 feet away from me, sitting in their cars, looking directly at me.
It's New York. There's nothing to see here.
That's a situation.
There's been a couple times that I've shit myself because I just refuse to shit in the hopper. There was a couple times it was a close call. Like I'm like, oh, I am 5 minutes away from the garage. I'll be able to make it. I get out of the truck, and the second I get out of the truck, like your body shifts, and it's the balance, and your body just goes, all right, no more.
Mississippi
Yeah,
mudslide.
you're just done. But one of my best stories is when I first started dating the goddess. We were, we did our activities, and then we went to bed. And I was at her place and didn't want to, I don't know how to say this properly. I was a little embarrassed about farting, so I kind of gave her a Dutch oven.
Oh no!
Not on purpose.
No. Oh
But
shit!
she woke up coughing, and she's like, "What the hell is that smell?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't smell it."
It wasn't me.
She found out about 3 months later that I gave her the Dutch oven because by that time you're in a relationship, you fart in front of each other, and I farted, and she somehow remembered the smell, and she went, "Son of a bitch, you gave me a Dutch oven 3 months ago," and I went,
She's like, I can still taste it.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, I mean, I got other shitting stories, but I'll move on. Just let somebody else go.
All right, Zach.
Oh boy. Shitting my pants stories. Don't have any shitting my pants stories. So my best friend
Just someone
is,
else's
Grab somebody else's pants.
yes. No. So my best friend he's a little bit on the heavier set side. So he farts a lot. He gets real scared when he farts because sometimes you never know. Well, he just thought he had a wet fart. Not a big deal. And he was driving. This was for his anniversary recently, and they're driving to go to the mall and go to dinner. And he's dressed all nice and some nice pants and stuff. And he farts, and he's like, "Oh, that was just a wet fart, not a big deal." He gets up out of the van, and this man has a wet streak from the top of his butt cheek to like the back of his knee.
Oh,
And he got it on his wife's brand new seat covers. And so all you hear is us. We get a call. Is like, does Zach have any extra pants? And we're like, oh, please tell me. And and she was like, well, my wife was like, yeah, of course. Why? What happened? Eric shit his pants.
Oh,
And we were like, yeah. So, and the worst part was I just went shopping and just got a brand new pair of pants that day. And I was like, well,
Guess neither his.
here you go. I was like, well, these aren't mine anymore. I don't want them back.
Right.
Keep them. Enjoy your anniversary. Love you. Bye.
That's awesome.
Man,
donate them to the cause.
I feel like
All right.
I did get those pants back.
I feel like I got one more I have to share, and it's not a long one.
Go for
Wait,
it.
hold on. I got to fart for you. There we go.
Check your pants.
We years ago we took a group of kids from the church. We took them bowling, and I had my younger cousin, and I'm definitely not going to share his name, but like he had a
There's no shame here.
speech. He had a little bit of a speech impediment, and like so the way he talked always sounded a little bit funny. Can you kind of this? You kind of throw it right together. And he was a strange kid, and he was probably about 9 or 10 at the time this happened. He went to the bathroom at a bowling alley, and he came back, and he had his sweatpants pulled up all the way up to his little titties. And I was like,
You said you had titties.
so I was like, pull your pants back down. You look ridiculous. He said, I can't. I said, what do you mean you can't? Pull your pants back. He said, I can't. I had an accident.
Oh shit!
I said, what happened? This kid went to the bathroom, was pulling his pants down, was almost to the not quite in the stall, but was already pulling his pants down. Diarrhea all over the floor. He's like, it was slippery. He slipped and fell in it and was wallowing on his back like a turtle on a shell. And he thought that by pulling his pants up to his little titties that he could cover it up. This kid had crap all the way up his back, up his neck. It was in his hair. It was on his back of his ears. Like he had literally just wallowed in it like a pig in a mud hole.
Oh my god.
We had to drive all the way home, like a 30-minute drive, smelling like him, like covered in diarrhea.
All right, I got to share something.
He would have rode on the roof.
I don't know whose parents here, but does anybody remember the times where your child shit so much that it came out the diaper and up their back?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
Noah was notorious for farting or crapping really up his back and in his own armpit as a kid.
Ew.
We
That's
tell
a
these stories
skill.
all the time. Like, how did you? And it was always, dude, my son. It would be the same thing every time. we would get ready. We'd be out the door. We'd put him in the car seat. He'd look at you and then just shoot diarrhea up his own back into his armpits. And it's just like, now we got to start over. We were finally out the door. Having kids is like so tough sometimes. It's like, I like, and it was like clockwork, man. It's like, he'd poop. I would clean him up. We'd be diaper changed, fresh clothes, looking good, smelling good, and get in the car, and then, well, there we go again.
I remember the first time we got on a plane with Elliot, and we took her to Disney World, and she was 2, and we land the plane, and all I hear is, and she vomited all over herself as we landed, and I was like, "This great way to start."
I got a sweet Mama D story for you.
All right.
She was playing outside, and this is, and she fell down. And she got a little scrape on her butt, and as children do, they come into the house crying. She got a boo 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 boo. So I tell her to go inside, and we'll clean her up. Well, my daughter's mother is in the bathtub cleaning her up, and she's wiping her, cleaning up her butt, and she farts. So I start laughing, and my daughter's mother is like, she said her real name, and my daughter, straight faced, turned around and looked at her and goes, "My compliments to the chef."
That's amazing.
I was hysterical laughing, and I got in trouble because I was laughing, but it's just fucking funny.
Absolutely. That's so funny. All right, Joe, you're up with the actual story for yourself.
I mean, I've already told all my really good ones, especially shitting my pants. I told that one already, so we won't do that. I do have one. When I started dating my wife, I used to have really bad acid indigestion when I was in high school, and I used to vomit all the time, and it was usually after paying a lot of money to go eat somewhere with my wife. I would just literally just vomit. So I took her out to ice cream. This must have been like our 3rd or 4th date, right? I just packed down this whole chocolate peanut butter sundae thing. I walk outside and I just go all over the ground. And then I did it again on Valentine's Day, and my wife was like, "What the fuck is your problem?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just eat this food," and I vomited it up. And
it's like Stan from South Park every time he talked to Wendy.
So I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then eventually, it just stopped happening. It was really weird. But I just couldn't hold things down for a few years there, and it was really, really scary, honestly. It's honestly scary.
I believe you,
crazy.
Man. I'm fine with. I just can't get on any kind of ride that spins or hey,
Yep.
I'll get motion sick so quick.
Same.
I get motion sickness in a car if I sit in the passenger seat.
Dude,
It's terrible. I fall asleep on every vehicle.
Remind me to go on a road trip with you, so I never have to drive.
He start driving.
Oh my god, dude! I'm always the designated driver because I get so sick. At work, I have to drive all the time because if I try to sit in the back, I'll fall asleep.
Achievement.
All right, check it out. I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. This one, I didn't. When I started dating my wife, I was super self-conscious about farting, and I got to be honest, I don't remember when we actually started letting the fart thing happen
In class and blamed it on that poor girl.
Yeah. I've been dating my wife for a little while though. Once it became okay, it became like a game, But I don't remember when it became okay. But what I do remember is one of the most legendary farts I ever did in my entire life. My wife and I went to a friend. Well, I say friend. They're somewhere between friends and family. It's some people we grew up with, or I grew up with rather, and we're the godparents of their children. They're just they're good friends. They're good people. And so we were going over there and hanging out, and we were pregnant with my oldest at the time, and my wife during that pregnancy, everything made her want to throw up. Like, and she's not like a soft stomach person. Like, you know, she's a friggin' nurse, a labor and delivery nurse at that. So she's like a nasty nurse.
A nasty nurse.
Yeah,
Sure, she
like
loves being called that.
yeah, they're tough, right? So freaking my wife is. I have this tendency, if I get comfortable, I'll fall asleep. If I'm sitting up, I'll fall asleep. If I'm laying down, I'll fall asleep. And we would go hang out with these friends, and we'd sit down and watch a movie, and I'd fall asleep. And they started to get kind of like
Offended?
yeah, very offended. And they would tell my wife, like, every time he comes over, he just goes to sleep, you know?
Yep.
And I'm like, you got to keep me engaged, or I'm just going to fall. If I get comfortable, I'm
Yep.
out.
I do that every night watching TV with my wife, and
Yeah.
it's like stuff I want to watch
Yep.
too.
Yeah. That's why I play video games. Because
That's why I play video games. That's why I
I'm
play the Switch
engaged.
and watch TV with my wife. My wife's like, "Are you ignoring me?" I'm like, "No, I'm keeping myself from falling asleep."
So,
Yeah.
so we go over there, and I would fall asleep. So this one night, we left. I slept through the entire movie. I don't even remember what movie we were going to watch. But it was like as soon as I got there, I sat on the couch and passed out. And she was griping and complaining, and I had to fart so bad. Like, and they were just really bad in general. So she doesn't realize it, and I turn the heat on in the car, right? And I turn it on, and like it's getting warm in there, and she's just going and going and going, just griping. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you done yet? And I'm like, I can't help it. And then so finally, I let this steamer out, and it burnt coming out. And it smells so bad. And she's just yap. Pull over. And we pull over, and I'm just laughing, and she is barfing her brains out. Like she leans the car door over.
Oh shit!
She is just puking her guts out, and I'm just dying laughing because I'm like, that's what you get for.
Oh, that's what you get.
That's what you get. My kids always say, that's what you get for. But like, yeah, she's sitting there just griping and fussing at me, and I'm like, I just turned the heat on, and I friggin'
You turn the heat on.
And dude,
Biological
when she got a whiff
warfare.
of it, she barfed her brains out. It was amazing.
All right, so I do have one that I remember now that you brought that up. So this was right when my wife got her brand new first car. Like, you know that first car, and you have that like new
Yeah.
car smell, right? So
Like
she
that.
takes her sister up to like, I guess like she took her sister up to the school because she had like cheerleading practice, and it was at like the school, like the local school that was like 2 minutes from her house. So like we're riding in the car, and I'm sitting in the back seat, and all of a sudden I ripped this nasty ass fart in her brand new car. She pulled that shit over on the main road and told me to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, I kid you not. She kicked me out of the car on the fucking road.
That's what you deserve.
Because she's like, yo, she's like, this is my fucking brand new car. You're not taking a shit in it. Like, take your brand elsewhere, sir.
That's amazing.
And then she was like, oh, you can get back in the car. And I was like, nah, I'll walk back to your parents' house because it's only like a block. I don't want to get back in your
I'll
car.
fart the whole way back.
That's right.
That is amazing.
He's like, my ex didn't get mad when I farted in the car.
That's right. She welcomed it. She loved it. She rolled the windows up.
But
Yeah.
Hi-oh.
All right, guys. Anybody got any other fart or crap stories they want to share before we get out of here?
I got a throw up story.
Do
He
it.
said, "Do it."
So, like I said, I don't handle like rides well. I remember on our senior trip, we had gone to like Universal Studios, SeaWorld, all that stuff. And at the beginning of one of the days, I got on like a scrambler type thing, and I got sick. I didn't throw up, but I was green all day. I couldn't ride anything else. And right there at the end of the day, one of the girls in our group, she's like, man, you got to ride this other thing with us. It ain't going to make you sick. It was one of the ones where you sit in the chair and you have the glasses and the movie plays and the chairs move with the video.
Yeah.
And she's like, it shouldn't make you sick. As soon as it started, like I could tell like it was going to be bad. And I was over there with my eyes closed, like Lamaze breathing to try to keep from throwing up.
Yep.
And like,
Doesn't work.
it was this a magic carpet ride theme ride. And she started shaking me. She's like, "Gotta look at this, gotta look at this, gotta look at this." And like I opened
You're
up
trying
my
to keep your eyes closed.
Yeah, I opened up my eyes, and like the second that I threw up, it was when it was going over this huge like hill, and the seats kicked forward. I threw up over 3 rows of people and hit the screen. It looked like somebody took a bucket and just drenched the screen, and everybody started screaming. Like it was just like dripping down the screen. It was so gross.
It's like a scene from a horror movie.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's what happens when you put me on a ride. I ruin
Dude.
your day.
My wife and I first started dating, and we weren't allowed to date. Like her mom got pregnant at 16, and they were like, "Nope, none of these girls are allowed to date." So what we did was, I went to the fair with a good friend of mine, and she went to the fair with a good friend of hers. We met up and kind of did our own thing, and I hadn't told my wife yet my girlfriend at the time, that I get really bad motion sick. In fact, all I wanted to do was do whatever she wanted that made this experience the best experience it could be for her. And so I get on the Starship 2000 or Starship 3000.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And we get in there, and it like spins around 90 miles an hour and sucks you up against the wall.
Yeah.
And my wife loved it. And I knew going into it, I was going to be sick. It was going to ruin me.
But you had to love it, bro. You had to love it.
Oh my gosh, dude. I was miserable. We got out of there. I made it like 10 steps. And then I started projectile vomiting, like just disgusting.
She still married you.
Oh my gosh. She was like, "Oh man, that's all blah, blah, blah." And then I told her after I just blew my guts out, I was like, "Yeah, I get really bad motion sick." And she's like, "Why the freak did you ride that with me?" I was like, "Well, that's what you wanted to ride, so I was going to try it and see if I could do it." And that's
Like, I got a ride for you.
Yeah.
See, I got on one of those one time too. It's the ones that stick you to the wall.
Yeah.
I got on one of those, and I threw up I threw up on the person beside me, but he was stuck to the wall. So like he just had to ride the whole thing with my barf on his chest.
Dude, that happens so much, man. Like that ride, especially because the way it sucks you against the wall, people throw up, and then like by the time that the vomit comes out, they've already made the circle, the rotation around, and it's back all over you, or it's just what a weird ride to throw up in. I made it out of the ride, and I blew chunks. But it was one of those things where she was just like, "That was so sweet. I can't believe you did that for me."
When I was a kid, I mean, this doesn't involve any part of vomiting, but just an embarrassing story about roller coasters. When I was a child, I was petrified of roller coasters, and my sister loved them. And we used to go to Keansburg, New Jersey, and there was a roller coaster called the Screaming Demon. My sister loved this thing, and she would ride it like nonstop. My mother wanted to get me on this ride, so my mother lied to me. Straight out lied to me. She goes, "It has a brake. That if it goes too fast, I can just hit the brake and it will slow down." So, like, I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm not believing her. Then we get to, the operator of the ride, and the operator backs my mother up. So I start to the operator. I say, "Where's the brake so I can hit it?" She goes, "Well, it's going to be on your mother's side, and it's right there." And the brake, being naive, was literally a bolt holding the wheels to the cart.
Oh, Jesus.
So now I get on because I'm convinced, okay, it's got a brake. My mom can hit the brake, but, I need my mom to hit the brake because she's, strong enough to do it. I'm just a little kid. We get up the first hill, and we come over and we start getting accelerating. And on the way down, I'm screaming, "Hit the brake, hit the brake." And my mother, being the asshole she is, starts hitting the brake going, "It's broken." I rode that entire thing, got off, was hysterical crying. 20 minutes later, I rode it like 5 more times.
Yep, that's usually what happens,
But my mother's like, "It's broken," as she's hitting the ground as hard as she can, going, "It's broken, it's broken." And the operator goes, "Yeah, there was never a brake."
That's so funny. false.
Oh no! All
All right,
right.
guys. Anybody got anything
I
else before we
just
get
got
out
one
of
more
here?
thing. This is for
All
Joe.
right.
Social media.
Amazing.
Just remember what the best wrestling promotion around
That's right.
is.
AEW.
I'll have to give Zach credit because he's literally the second person ever to tell me he does not like that.
Yeah, I heard he backed me up.
Yeah, the worst part was Tricky wasn't even giving me a chance. He just assumed that I liked it.
Because no normal person dislikes it.
It's just annoying.
Josh, I have to ask you.
Normals.
What do you think?
I thought it was funny. It's the first time I heard
Thank
it.
you.
Funny.
Yep, see? Boom. All right, guys. This has been the Loot Bros podcast. We hope you enjoyed it, man. There was some little bit of something for everybody. We talked games. We talked barfing. We talked farting, crapping our pants, pooping in a hopper of a sanitation truck. Oh, Jared, make that happen, buddy. Make that happen. Let's get that meme going.
I think situation needs to be his T-shirt
Oh my god,
with Josh's
dude.
face on it.
Well, it's like on
He
guys
should
ever
draw
watch-
it. He
you
could
ever-
draw his own T-shirt.
You guys ever watch Jersey Shore?
God, no.
No.
And Mike.
Oh
the
my God.
Situation.
Josh is now the situation.
That's the most appropriate thing that's ever been done.
That's right.
Oh man! If I buy your comic book, you need to sign it, aka the situation.
Look,
I will frame that shit.
If you buy my comic, I'll sign it whatever you want.
That's
I
right.
already have my
That's right.
pre-order in.
I was about to say, I got mine in.
Yep, got mine in.
Oh man!
But yeah, guys, this has been the Loot Bros podcast. Thank you so much for checking out. If you like what you heard and you were into this, leave reviews, leave 5 stars on Spotify. Give us the heart on Google Play, whatever it is. Leave reviews on iTunes, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the YouTube, even if you don't listen there. Check it out. Thank you all for so much. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Tricky. This was a fun night, man. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was a good time. And also, don't forget, if you're not, go ahead and follow us on Instagram. And we also have a group on Facebook. If you are not in that group, just come on in, ask to join, and say pretty please, and we'll let you in.
And go check out Trophy
Yeah.
Horse.
Don't forget the
Yeah, check out Trophy Horse, pre-order Josh's comic books. All that stuff will be in the link in the show notes.
Yep, don't
Dude,
forget
check out all the
Trophy
stuff on
Horse. I
Legacy.
actually, I made Trophy Horse great again.
No, you did not.
Somebody's got to do it.
You brought it down.
I know, because it's impossible.
All right, guys. This has been the Loot Bros podcast, and we're out of here.
Later.
AEW.
AEW. WWF's or WWE or whatever the freak. I called it all three. WCW, WWF. It sucks now because Stephanie McMahon just went on leave of that. All right, everybody. We're going to end this episode with an instrumental I wrote. This one's called Caliban Cove, named after one of the Resident Evil S.D. Perry novels.